All righty.
We could call the meeting to order. If you all would like to join me in a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Did you want to do the moment of silence?
We'll make you guys repeat the flag salute as well. I always feel sad when we're here by ourselves, but I'm glad that you guys joined us, so thank you.
Okay.
If you could go into the sunshine.
Sure. Notice requirements of the New Jersey Public Meetings Law have been satisfied by noticing the Asbury. I've lost my mic. On January 3rd, 2025, stating that a regular meeting of the Colts Neck Township Committee would be held on November 12th, 2025, 7 p.m., Town Hall, 1 Veterans Way, Colts Neck. Copy is on file in the office of the Township Clerk. Further notice was provided to the Asbury Park Press and the Two River Times on October 30th, 2025, noting the meeting time change from 7 p.m. to 6:30 p.m.
Thank you. Can I have a roll call?
Yes, you may. Deputy Mayor Viola.
Here.
Committeeman Bizzetto.
Here.
Committeewoman Fitzpatrick.
Here.
Committeewoman Rizzuto.
Here.
Mayor Buss.
Here. Resolution 2025-185, executive session to talk about potential litigation and personnel. Any comments? Can I have a motion to approve?
Move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We will be back.
And you can let everybody else know we'll be back. Hopefully there isn't everybody else.
Take a seat. Is this the agenda? If you want one of these agendas, I would just keep them along. We've got one. In good shape. I don't see anything on here.
Yeah, I was wondering.
Go back home and watch Jeopardy.
Our neighbors texted to say that, you know, it was on, she had called and it was on the schedule for tonight, but I'm just.
I don't think. I don't know what this was. Or 736. School property tax reimbursement.
You found it on her?
You might see this. For everybody, or if you're still working.
should go tomorrow. Thanks you.
Right down the road from that. I want to see what they have to say about that. You know? Yeah. I heard it was a buffer, wasn't that, but I read somewhere that Earl, that, they have a buffer, and 10 acre zoning, what happened to that, you know? You know, so, yeah. Yeah, I worry about traffic, you know, listen, I know, affordable housing, and, you know, then it says it's gonna be, I don't know exactly what they're gonna let, they said 400 units, is it age restricted? Or is this gonna be all, you don't know? But they're gonna talk about that, that's what.
Yeah.
I'm curious about that. So the Earl thing has nothing going on, they can't really, they can't stop them from wetlands over there, there's some wetlands there. Was it sold or the orange? I know it was. Something like that. Right. Right. That would have been great. That's an area. You would have more open space. Oh, so no, very good. Everybody else is
I manage.
You sent it to them, that's the only reason.
So that's why you see that.
You're right.
Whoa.
Megan,
Oh, boy.
head count?
Counting.
It's on the wall, 113, 118. Oh my
I think we
God.
have 113.
You have to fill in the
Can everyone
spaces.
sit down and fill in the spaces because we're looking at an occupancy issue? If you are standing, please find a seat.
If you can.
Yeah, there's some space up front, folks. If we can. We don't want to have to call the meeting because we have a breach of our occupancy. We need to get everyone to come on in.
Come on in.
You should have had it at the high school.
I don't think we realized there was going to be.
Things this big,
Thank
this
you,
big.
Louis. Everybody's gonna come. Are there seats up there? Scott, are there seats in front of you? Are there seats over there too?
Obviously, somebody got the message. It was my birthday, and I really appreciate y'all coming out. Thank you. Thank you. We're just going to do a little count, make sure we have not exceeded our fire
There's some-
capacity.
Come on up. There's some over here. One should be able to,
Can we open those back doors
yeah.
as well?
And it can stand up there.
Yeah, we
You can open
also-
those.
I'll have it till me. Megan, if we have to, we can back doors and let people out and stand on the threshold, because that's a occupancy for this room.
We're at 111. And I think we're at, who is it?
We're good.
113. We're at 111.
Thank you. That was a good team approach. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Careful.
Kathy, Clifford.
That's good.
Very, very. Proceed.
Can I have a motion to go back into public session?
Moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank
Sorry.
you.
Who was the second?
I was.
Thank you, Dan.
So for those of you who've been waiting, I apologize. Our executive session went a little bit longer, but really happy to have everybody here tonight. I am just kidding about it being my birthday. I mean, it is my birthday, but I know you're all here for some information. So I appreciate everybody coming out. We usually start with the salute to the flag and a moment of silence at the beginning of our meeting, but since you all were not here, we did have two earlier guests. I'd like us to, if we could, with everybody here, do another salute to the flag, if you all would indulge me. Thank you.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moment of silence. We had Veterans Day the other day, a wonderful testament of America and the sacrifices that were made. So if we could just have a moment of silence for all
Mayor,
that have
may I
served.
add to that also?
Yeah, absolutely.
We have one of our veterans that just passed away recently. And I'd like to add his name to that, Andy Latano, who's a longtime member of Colt Snack, president of the Lions Club, and awesome community leader. So we could just add him to that too. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. We have a pretty short agenda tonight. We're going to business opportunities, and then we're going to take the opportunity to address why many of you are in fact here. So I'd like to start off with Resolution 2000, confirming appointment of Municipal Clerk Kathleen Capristo to keep us afloat. For those people in the audience that didn't know, our Municipal Clerk, Trina Lindsay, we appreciate all her service. She has gone on to another municipality, another opportunity, and we are fortunate enough that our Township Administrator is also a clerk. Kathleen, would you like to add anything to that?
No, just that, yes, I am a registered municipal clerk, so do have the certification and qualifications, and I'll do my best to keep us afloat.
We appreciate that. We do
Sure.
appreciate that. Any other comments? If not, can I get a motion to approve?
Motion?
Second.
Roll call?
Deputy Mayor Viola.
Yes.
Committeeman Bezetta.
Yes.
Committeewoman Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Committeeman Rizzuto.
Yes.
Mayor Buss.
Yes, and thank you again for
Motion
keeping
passes.
us afloat. You're doing a good job filling her seat. Minutes, approval of minutes from, we have October 8th, 2025, executive session and regular meeting. And we have October 29th, 2025, executive session and regular meeting. Any comments?
Move.
Second?
Roll call?
Sure. Deputy Mayor Viola.
Yes.
Committeeman Bezetta.
Yes.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Viola.
Yes.
And Mayor Buss.
Yes. Consent agenda. All items listed on our consent agenda are considered routine by the township and are adopted or approved collectively by a single motion and roll call vote of a majority of the township committee. If discussion is desired on any item, it is considered separately. We have Resolution 2025-187 through 2025-190. Can I get a motion to approve?
Well, Mayor, may I just speak about one of the items on the consent agenda?
Yes.
So one of the items on the consent agenda is Resolution 2025-190, urging the New Jersey State Legislature to defeat a bill currently pending before them, S-4736, and similar legislation. What that bill does, the bill that's currently pending before the New Jersey legislation, it would preempt local zoning. Municipalities like Colts Neck, our zoning rules would be preempted in favor of state rules. And it would enhance the ability of religious and nonprofit organizations to convert property to inclusionary developments with affordable housing. That's the bill currently pending before the state legislature. We don't control the state legislature, but what this resolution does, it is our position that we are urging our state representatives in Trenton to defeat that bill. So I just wanted to explain
I
that.
do appreciate you
Thank you.
clarifying that. For everybody, again, who's not familiar with our meetings, our agendas and the information as follows is always posted on our website, and I really would encourage you all to read about that. And, you know, depending on what your opinion is on it, we feel as if, you know, the state shouldn't be taking away our local rights with what we do with our properties and our land, our zoning rules in our town. We have a master plan that we abide by in the town, and we feel it should stay within the town, in the municipality. So we are urging our state legislators to oppose this bill. So I'd really encourage you all, it is located, our resolution, on the website to read it, review it, and you can provide your own public comments to your state legislators as well. So thank you. Can I get a motion?
Moved.
Second?
Roll call?
Deputy Mayor Viola.
Yes.
Committeeman Bezetta.
Yes.
Committeewoman Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Committeeman Rizzuto.
Yes.
Mayor Buss.
Yes.
Motion
Approval
passes.
of vouchers. Deputy Mayor, can you enlighten us with some information.
I can do that. Thank you, Mayor. Reviewed the vouchers this morning. This $6.2 million is a heavy lift as far as what's in the queue. But I want to point out 6 line items that represent 97% of the entire bills list. Debt service, $825,525. You know, from the beginning of the year when we adopted the budget, we had roughly $3.2 million in debt service. That's a debt service payment. Monmouth County Library tax, $121,000. Monmouth County tax, $2,033,057. Monmouth County open space tax, which is going up next year, was just a referendum was adopted at last week's election. That is $313,876. Colts Neck Board of Education, $1.6 million, and Freehold Regional, $1.131 million. So those 6 line items represent over $6 million of the bills list. Mayor, I found everything in order, approved all the vouchers, and I moved the amount of $6,209,646.77 for payment.
Second.
Roll call?
Deputy Mayor Viola?
Yes.
Committeeman Buzetta?
Yes.
Committeewoman Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Committeeman Rizzuto?
Yes.
Mayor Buss.
Yes, with the exception of any bills related to the municipal court.
Yeah. Same for me.
Usual exceptions for all.
And yes. For those of you who don't know, we have 2 volunteers in our fire department.
With the
So
exception of
just-
the fire department, I
Yep,
apologize.
yep.
she had said that, so we recuse ourselves when we have things that are related. Administrators report.
Just one item this evening on Montrose Road. If you've noticed, we have completed, this is the DOT grant-funded road improvement project, so it has been completed. Core testing is still underway and inspections to ensure that it is in compliance with DOT requirements, but we expect that to be completed and all favorable. So happy to report that that's done.
Excellent, thank you.
That's it.
Township committee reports. Committeeman Bezzetta, would you like to start us out?
Thank you, Mayor. I'll start with the seniors group. Over 90 members attended the luncheon and monthly meeting on November 5 at the Colts Neck Inn. This month's trip for the seniors is on December 11. They're going to see Elf the musical. And December 18 is the annual holiday party for the seniors at Molly Pitcher Inn. Sports Foundation elections for new board members will be held on November 19. The rec meeting is on November 17, but one of our consent agenda items was the appointment of Matthew Williams. So congratulations to him. A report on the Board of Education, two things I'd like to highlight and to congratulate our Board of Education on. The first is
Wait, hold on, we
three-
have to say what it is that we're clapping for. And I think I saw 2 of our Board of Education members here, so they can take credit whenever you explain what happened.
and they do deserve credit. So first is all 3 of the township schools, the primary, elementary, and the middle school, received and were named Purple Star Schools by the New Jersey State Department of Education, recognizing each commitment and work to support military-connected students and their families. This is a tremendous honor when you think schools each separately had to apply for this distinction, and all 3 schools were awarded that Purple Star recognition. So my congratulations to the Board of Education.
Okay, now we can clap. That's what a wonderful achievement.
Secondly, I'd also like to congratulate the Board of Education on the cameras that have been installed on school buses. This is a very serious issue. The Board of Ed took the initiative to have cameras installed on school buses for the safety of our children. They were installed in October, and we've already recorded 10 violations of people passing school buses when those flashing red lights are on. These are our children. Please, as you drive by a school bus, stop well before you get to that school bus when those lights are flashing. A fine carries, or a penalty carries a fine of $250 and can result in 5 points on a driver's license. But that's nothing compared to the lives of our children. So I congratulate the Board of Education for taking this initiative, and please let's drive safely. And on affordable housing, I guess I'll just touch on that right now.
For those of you who don't know, Mike Viola, our deputy mayor, and Dan Bizzetta are 2 liaisons for affordable housing. Everybody is involved in affordable housing, but I know for some of you, some of the news that you heard might be new. We've been speaking of this pretty much every meeting. And just so you know, you can go back and watch live stream meetings, which is give an update for now.
Well, an update, as we've been talking about for several months now, we know that there is interest in developing the Wellspring Farm on 537, which is across from Eastmont Orchards. The Navy is objecting to development there because that property is within the 3,000-foot restricted area around Naval Weapons Station Earl. We support the Navy's position in that. We do not believe that property is suitable for development. We are opposing development on the Wellsprings Farm. We learned just 2 days ago that the same developer that's interested in Wellsprings Farm is now interested in developing property on Dutch Lane and Boundary. There's 40-acre farm there.
Which is 151 Dutch Lane Road for people.
We learned of that 2 days ago, and we're bringing it to your attention. This is Active Acquisitions, the same developer that's interested in Wellsprings Farm. That property, the farm property, is deed restricted. We are going to oppose development on that property because it's deed restricted. You know, the fact is, and I mentioned this with the resolution we're passing, affordable housing laws, high density development laws, they come from Trenton. We are given a mandate to meet that number. We want to do it responsibly. We want to do it where it should be developed, where homes should be developed. And where it's not suitable for development, we will hold the line to protect our zoning. So I know that there are going to be a lot of questions. We want you to ask questions. We want you to be involved. We want you to know what's happening in our community. We want you to mobilize right to our legislatures in Trenton. Let your voice be heard. We cannot have high density development in areas that are not suitable for high density development. One of the ways we're trying to satisfy that mandate, you've heard a lot about our steps that we're taking to extend affordability with certain properties at the Grand. Pleased to report that we've closed on one property so far. One homeowner offered the property for sale. We exercised our right of first refusal. There are several others in the queue, and we've extended the deadline for those homeowners to tell us what they wish to do to December 17th. So as we know more, we'll pass that information on to you. But thank you. I look forward to your questions today. We will answer all the questions we have with as much information as we have when we get to the public comment section. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. And just, again, I'm sure most of you are here because you received a text with what I consider false information sent out by people looking to make political statements. And I think everybody can read through these messages. It's very clear what the intentions are of these messages. It is political in nature. But with that, it gets you all out to come listen to our meetings that we don't oftentimes have a lot of people at. So I'm excited that you're all here. I just want to clarify, we have a lot of open space in our town. And I can tell you right now, Colts Neck, as long as there is open space and land available, there will be developers who want to develop here. This is nothing brand new. This stuff has been happening for years in our town. And I understand that there's a huge monstrosity down the street. I might live closer than anyone here to that monstrosity that I drive past today. My daughter, with her new driver's license, drives back there, back and forth. It is an unfortunate example of what happens with overdevelopment. And we feel very strongly as a group here, and I'm sure the future governing bodies will also feel the same way. I just want to make it clear, the developers that people are speaking of have contracts to purchase on these pieces of property. As far as we're aware, unless it happened today, there has been no closings on property, and that's what developers do. They find pieces of land. They find people such as Wellspring, who's been trying to sell that property for 10 years now, at least 10 years, for $28 million. I feel like there might be, someone should think about doing a price reduction if you're serious about selling, but that's neither here nor there. That person's been trying to sell it. Developers look for that land and they make offers. And they say, if I can get a plan put in place, then I'm going to give you this money. They have a contract to purchase, and they're able to engage in discussions with the courts, with the town in developing these properties. That does not mean the township or anyone up here has said, yes, you can go ahead and do this. There are a lot of rules, a lot of laws. We have zoning laws in place. I believe every single one of these farms that has a contract on it right now is 10 acres owned. So what people are proposing is not technically allowed per our zoning laws as they sit today. So this is what Committeeman Bezzetta was saying about compatibility. So I apologize that I kind of went into a little bit of a rant there for a minute. I'll back off. I understand why a lot of you are here. That kind of stuff, you know, we speak of this stuff every meeting, and we will continue to do it. And I'm glad that you're all here, and we can hopefully give you some more information, and people can get some questions answered. So we're just going to continue along with our committee reports. Committeewoman Fitzpatrick.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say to the people that are here, maybe for the first time, when Dan mentioned that he is the liaison to affordable housing, we each have like 6 or 7 committees that we are liaison to, and we attend those meetings and report back. And that's what these reports are all about. We're in and around the community, involved in the community and the different organizations we belong to. So it's very important for us to bring that forward to let you know what they're doing. And also it gives you an idea of what kind of activities we have out there that you can join. I mean, we love to have, this is the end of the year, and we're looking for more volunteers to join committees and committees and commissions. So if you're interested, talk to any one of us and we can let you know what's available.
And Committeewoman Fitzpatrick, I happened to bring up an example of a citizen leadership form that I thought I had copies for people, but this is a citizen leadership form. You can fill that out right online at our website, coltsneck.org. And it shows your interest. It gives you several different committees you can be a part of. I know some people think that, you know, it's not something that's open to anybody and everyone, but it is. It absolutely is. So fill out your citizen leadership form, giving something of interest that you want. And if anyone wants to talk to us after, we are happy to as well. So continue.
Wonderful. Thank you. I'm the liaison to the Colts Neck Business Association, and I attend their meetings, and I also attend their executive board meeting, which I did this past Wednesday. And so they were discussing what's going on for the rest of the year. Just want to mention that November 18th at Huddy's at 5:30 is their next general meeting, and at that time they're going to have the election of their executive board for 2026. They're also asking members to bring food to Huddy's because there is a drive for food for the veterans at Earl, our veterans and our military personnel. And actually, Mary at the general store also has, the Daughters of American Revolution have set out a box that you can bring food there to for our people at Earl. I attended the Colts Neck Luncheon also with Dan and Mike Viola. It's always a great event, and it's so nice to see. We have almost 100 seniors there, and I get to see a lot of people that I've known over the years. We had the 250 celebration meeting. This is the organizational meeting for what's coming up in 2026, which is our, you can't say that very fast, 250 years, but I'm very proud to be the chair of that, and I think it's going to be a great year for Colts Neck. We are the crossroads of history here in Monmouth County. February 22nd, 2026 is the kickoff. It is George Washington's birthday, and we're going to have a birthday party for George Washington at the Colts Neck Inn, which he frequently, quite often, had Layer's Applejack. So we're opening it up to the public for a dinner. We're going to have George there and maybe even Martha. So I'll keep you informed about that. The CMBA is also sponsoring a barn tour on May 6th. So you have the opportunity to meet and go around to some of the farms in Colts Neck. We've done that several years, but it's been about 10 years since we had one, and it really is a lot of fun to go to that. So stay tuned for more information.
And do you have barns for that yet? Because we have a really great audience here of
Does
some of
anybody
which
have a
might have
barn?
a fabulous barn that they want to offer up. So you're
Okay.
still looking?
Well, we have several, but we're always looking for more. So let me know. You can always contact me after the meeting. Attended the Veterans Day event. I am part of the Women's Club, and so we were there decorating the day before, and we had a wonderful luncheon with the veterans. But the ceremony is very special. If any of you can ever attend that, the children at Cedar Drive have a veteran that they talk about, and sometimes get up there and say, I'm saluting my father, my mother. Very touching. And I don't know, this year it just seemed to be really super patriotic and just very joyful. And it was great. And the choir, the band, very nice event. So if any of you can go to that, it's always on November 11th at Cedar Drive. We met last night. And we discussed the various programs and grants that are involved in the state and the county. So we can try to preserve land here, and that is important. It's one of my passions to help preserve our farmland and our open space. We just approved the State Agricultural Development Plan, the PIG. So that offers grants to communities that meet their approval. We are going to submit our application for that. So it's a great opportunity to get some money and help us purchase some of these easements or land rights. And that's really about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Committeeman Rizzuto, would you like to
Yes, I'll
share some
start off with the
updates?
Emergency Office of Emergency Management, progress. We haven't had a meeting since last meeting. First aid squad, fire and police, although I'm not on the committee for fire, I'm not the liaison. We've last month, also a couple of pretty decent sized car fires. I'd just like to thank the police, the first aid, fire department, and the fire police for coming out in the middle of the night and really responding. If Al Ryan's here, he usually in his speech has all the details. But thank you to Dan Pizzetta, and is also a fireman. I'm on the fire department as well. We have a couple of policemen in the back. Thank them on their way out. They did a fantastic job on each of those scenes. With the police department, I talked to Chief DeVito. He is launching an e-bicycle safety initiative. If you've noticed, there are a lot of e-bikes running around town, and a lot of them are kids, and a lot of them are driving at night. The first step in this initiative is going to be education, because he is, and I concur, that he is under the impression that even parents don't know what the rules are. So they buy a nice, fast, souped-up e-bike, and it's a bicycle, so go ride your bike. Well, there are some rules, and there are regulations, and there are, a lot of things you have to comply with before, to ride an e-bike safely. And unfortunately, I think not too long ago in a different municipality, they had a loss. So we want to try to prevent that here in Colts Neck. He will advertise it on their Facebook page. While we have a crowd here, I have to also, for the chief, talk up his child seat safety program. He has certified police officers at your disposal to meet with you and help you install your child seats correctly. They all went to class to be certified instructors, train the trainer. So please avail yourself if you're still in that period of your life where you have child seats. He also wanted me to let everyone know that they are up for reaccreditation. If people don't know, we're a fully accredited police department from the State Chiefs Association, Gold Star Standard. We're very proud of that accreditation. It's hard to maintain, and part of that accreditation process is every few years you come up for review. So we're having a meeting next week, and we're going to get our game plan in line for our reaccreditation. Historic preservation, December 7th. And again, I'm glad the crowd's here. It's our Christmas at Montrose School. Santa Claus is there, so instead of going to the mall, take your pictures with Santa Claus, you can come for free. Come to the Montrose School on December 7th from 1 to 4. There's food, there's music, there's Santa Claus. And that is about it. Long range did not meet. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to go over a couple things I'll add to Committeeman Bezzetta's affordable housing at the end of my other committee reports. DPW shouldn't have any brush on the street. Brush pickup is done for the year until April, please. If you have brush on the street, move it on out of the right of way. You will be written up. We're entering snow season, and they would have to go around your pile. They can't just push your pile back onto your property. It causes damage to the equipment, and that's very expensive to repair. So please, no brush on the street. Leaf pickup is in Zone 4. You'll notice from the brochure, there's one last leaf pickup in December by reservation only. It's in the contract with the contractor. You have to call DPW by 3 o'clock, look on the dates on the brochure to make your reservation. If you call in at 3:01, you're too late. So please pay attention to the guidelines. And then lastly, regarding DPW, Saturday courtesy hours for recycling have been suspended through the winter. They will reconvene or reopen again in April. Finance, good news and bad news. Good news is we just got the appraisals from the county. The average appraisal in Colts Neck is up 8.29%. That's the average. Your property, when you get your notice, it might be more than that, it might be less than that. Every property is different. But I will tell you, as finance chair for the rest of the year, I will do all that I can to offset the 8.29% in a reduction of the rate going into the budget year. So what that means, good news is that in a worst case scenario, and we're looking for areas to save and to cut, in a worst case scenario, your tax line would be flat in Colts Neck for next year. The bad news is we don't control the schools, we don't control the county, we don't control open space. That's done by referendum, et cetera, et cetera. Your county taxes and everything else might rise accordingly because your appraisal is going up 8.29%. Some appraisals will go up more, some will go up less. Department, so that is a budget item. We are working on the budget now, and the department heads are due to have their budgets submitted to the administrator by the 10th January.
That hasn't been announced yet.
Okay, well, it's soon.
Around
So
there, yeah. Usually around the same time.
budgeting has begun. The appraisals is the first trigger of the budget mechanism. We now know that if we didn't do anything, the appraisal is going to go up. It is going to affect the rate. So we're going to take the rate down, work to take the rate down. Additionally, on my congratulations to the Board of Ed on their recognition, all 3 schools for being preferred for the military. A number of years ago, Earl as a station for the Navy wasn't a desirable post. Now it's one of the most sought-after posts in the 48 contiguous United States. Navy representatives, when they put in for orders, they look to come to Colts Neck. That's because of all of you, because we watch out for the kids. They're in our community. They live here. They're in our schools. They're in our rec programs. They're in our sports foundation. They deserve to be taken care of, and kudos to the schools for that recognition. That's very impressive. Regarding the Citizen Leadership Forum, if you wish to submit, please put your interests and your qualifications. If someone is just getting started, and that's wonderful, we want you to get started. If they ask for a municipal land use board like planning or zoning board, if it doesn't match if they're an architect or a developer, or if they're a builder, et cetera, they offer a unique set of skills that might be applicable to a land use board. So we'll take your interest and we'll match it up against your experience to the right fit. So please consider stepping up. Thank you, Mayor, for mentioning that. Lastly, I'll piggyback now on Committeeman Bezzetta's comments on affordable housing. So he mentioned active acquisitions has 2 plans for Colts Neck. 500 units on Wellspring. 90% of Wellspring is behind that boundary. 90% of the 160 acres is encumbered by that encroachment. What is that 3,000 foot? If you want to see the map, I'll leave the map up here for you to look at. But there is a border around the base, 3,000 feet, that was a result of the joint land use study between the Department of Defense and each county's planning board across the 48 contiguous United States. They did it out of resiliency and sustainability. They evaluated everything in every base. They came up with the 3,000-foot setback for several reasons. Number one, there's a lot of munitions on the base. And if you recall early last month, there was an explosion in a plant in Tennessee. That was one building. The debris field was a half a mile. Okay? I don't know how many pounds of munitions were detonated in that tragedy. 19 people instantly lost their lives. There's approximately 15 million pounds of munitions on the base. And their activity is very, very high. They hide it very well. They're very good at how they hide it. But obviously, it's number one, I would say, is national security. So Wellspring wants to put 2 5-story buildings on their property. What do they want to do? Put people looking at the base, watching them move munitions, taking data, et cetera, et cetera? That's national security. The base. Secondly, it's public safety. Obviously, that 3,000-foot barrier is there for a reason. The next barrier goes out 2 miles. In that 3,000-foot setback, they say what type of housing is not compatible. Townhouses, assisted living, police departments, hospitals. Why? It's too many people in that place, in that area. And I don't know if anybody lives or borders near the base, but this summer, they had an unexploded munition that they could not relocate to be detonated. They had a shelter in place, and they detonated that weapon in place. So development at Wellspring is 90% encumbered. We will continue to fight that. There's a second development on that side of town on the old Squilari farm. That's 68 Aubrey Road. That developer is March Associates. They have approximately 50% of their properties encumbered by that encroachment. They want to put 202 units on that. So now we're up to 702. Okay? And the third one is the one on Dutch Lane. That's 250 homes they want to put in. Do the math. That's a lot of homes. As Committeeman Bezzetta had mentioned, we have our extension of affordability controls at the Grand that we're currently under. We have 21 credits of our 101 for round 4. We have 21 credits for the rental units, and we're up to 12 for the owner-occupied. That program will go on another month, as Committeeman had mentioned. Hopefully, there will be more entering into that agreement. We extended the agreement by 2 weeks because there was a taxation question that we addressed our last meeting that we wanted to give the owners a little bit more time to work with their professional to make sure that they have all the information they need. Hopefully, they'll sign up to extend their affordability control. Working on reducing that number. I wish it was happening at a more rapid rate, but it is at whatever rate it is. But those 3 developments all have issues. And as Committeeman Bezzetta had mentioned, the one on Dutch Lane is deed restricted. So we're going to work through the process. This is just getting started. There's a lot of pressure. The way the new legislation worked, we had till June 30th to submit a plan to the state. Submitting that plan to the state afforded us protection from what's called the program. That's the adjudicators in each county. That means we have a level of protection. Our rights can be, we can defend our rights and work through this process because we participated by June 30th and submitted our plan for the 101 units in round 4. For 60 days following that, the legislation allowed anybody in the state to review our plans, and if they wish, they could object to them. Well, we had 3 objectors. One is Fair Share Housing Center. That's the advocate that you hear a lot about. They had 400 objections. Of the 564 municipalities, they entered 400 objections. So it's more of their MO than basically anything. Then the other 2 was Active on Wellspring and March and Associates on Aubrey. This one that we got from Active on, literally, we just got it on Monday. So also about that law, that bill that was entered into the Senate, it's S4736. Please call Senator Gopal, call Assemblywoman Donlin and Peter Paul, and articulate to them that this is not the right fit anywhere in New Jersey. One of the reasons why you want to be compliant with the lowest development possible is you have protection and you still maintain your zoning. That law usurps our zoning. What we've been defending all along, they're putting in question. Now, it's specific to certain areas, et cetera. It might have some impact on Colts Neck. It's just the beginning. If this passes the Senate and is adopted by the Assembly and signed into law, it's the beginning of additional zoning challenges. They start there, where are they going to stop? So please speak up, please call Legislative District 11, make your voice heard, go visit them, be all over them, write to them, do not stop. Again, that usurps local planning boards. And as the mayor had mentioned, for compatible land for development, that's called community planning. That's smart community planning. They're trying to usurp smart community planning. So that's what I have for now, Mayor. I'm sure there'll be plenty of questions.
Yes, thank you. Just a few reports. I'll try and keep it short since I know everyone wants to ask some questions. I attended the Board of Health meeting. Those of you who are not aware, Laird Distillery in our town, if you're not aware, go out to the liquor store, get yourself some Laird's Applejack. Laird's is the oldest distillery in the entire United States. The oldest is right here, right down the road here in good old Scope. And they've been working for the past 6 years to put together a museum and tasting room. And they actually came to the Board of Health and presented their septic and water treatment plan. And then they gave us the insights on the architecture and all of that. And it was beautiful. Yeah, there was no samples provided at the Board of Health meeting, unfortunately, much to my dismay. But they presented the plan. It was approved at the Board of Health level for what they're doing and the upgrades they're going to be doing. And it was great. More to be seen on that. So congratulations on the rabies clinic that we had last week. We offer a rabies clinic yearly in town. So this year, if you missed it, I'm sorry. You'll be able to do it again. Next year, we'll have that. I also wanted to mention Friends of the Library is having their book sale this weekend, November 15th, Saturday, and November 16th. Some flyers in the back, but they might all be gone by now. So come to the book fair. I don't know if Michelle Batista is here from Friends of the Library. She does a great job with her team. It's been an honor to be the liaison for them because I love the book sale. I get lots of gifts there because they have a lot of new books as well. So I definitely would encourage everybody to go there. It opens at 10 a.m. They do have a preview hour at 9 a.m. for $5 extra. So definitely check out the book sale, and you can see signs around town as well. Also, our Colts Neck Fire Department, I also had little flyers in the back, little tiny flyers. They're having a breakfast with Santa to support the Colts Neck Fire Company, and it's being held at house number 2. So thank you very much for house number 2 for hosting that. They have seatings at 9 and 11, and that is on December 6th and December 7th. And that is always fun, and there's always cute elves and stuff. I heard the elves are really trying to create some ears and do some fun stuff for that. And then I also wanted to just mention, I know that Committeewoman Fitzpatrick had mentioned, Daughters of the Revolution was doing a food drive. For anyone who doesn't know, they're an organization that does a lot regarding respecting our veterans of the Revolutionary War. Our own township attorney has descendants who are buried here in town as well, who fought in the Revolutionary War, and DAR work funds. It's been my honor to work with DAR and a few other towns to help, and we are doing it here in Colts Neck as well. With that. But with that, one of the things that they did is they started a food drive, and it's for Naval Weapons Station Earl, because their food pantry was very low on supplies. And then with the government shutdown, payments being delayed and all that, they were definitely in need. I actually spoke with Michelle Donnelly from DAR, and she said that Colts Neck delivered over. I'm going to bring up exactly what she said because I was just so impressed. She said Colts Neck stepped up. They delivered 500 pounds of food alone last week, just from Colts Neck. So 500, you guys. So I appreciate that. It is still open. Again, I left some flyers in the back, but there's a lot of people here. This is up on our website as well. They are collecting over at the general store. So thank you, Mary Pahira, for allowing us to put a drop off there. And that is just what was dropped off in a short period of time. So again, thank you very much. Please help support our military. And we do have civilians there as well that basically take from that pantry as well. So I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. And also, I know that Committeeman Rizzuto had said a big thank you, but a big thank you to the fire, first aid, police, and fire police for all that they did in some of our structure fires we've had in town. These are the people getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning because, you know, I have to go to the bathroom or something. So I'm so appreciative, and they're volunteers. They're volunteers. So I just want to say a big thank you for putting themselves in harm's way to make sure we're all safe. That is all I had for updates for now. So we're just going to open it up to the public, just so you understand. Don't worry, Mr. O'Brien, I'll get you first. I saw that hand. Just so people understand, I'm going to read a little bit about what our public comment process is, and our administrator / brand new clerk is going to turn on the microphone for you guys. We welcome comments from members of the public. If you could just raise your hand, we'll invite you up to speak. We do ask that you identify yourself, clearly stating your name and address for the record. Your comments will be limited to 4 minutes. We have a lot of people here. Once you have finished speaking or your 4 minutes has expired, we'll respond accordingly. We'll do the best we can to address some of your questions. Just so you guys know, we usually stay after at our meetings every week to hopefully answer questions, but we can also provide contacts so you guys could call us, email us, and go from there. So can I get a motion to open public comment?
Move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. O'Brien, I saw your hand up.
Kevin O'Brien, 18 The Enclosure. I have no political ambition. We've got like 60 people watching at home. So just before we start, Planning Board Chairman John Tobias asked why conservation measures or land preservation measures were not applied for by the Colts Neck governing body at the last Planning Board session. You felt that his questions were inappropriate there, so I'm going to ask them here. Has open space grants been investigated since Mr. Tobias asked about it? Can the Mill Springs farm be purchased via eminent domain? Why not apply to the state and county for open funding? Eminent domain allows the government to take private property for public use, providing it pays just compensation. If an agreement can't be reached, the government can initiate a quick take process where it files a declaration of taking and deposits the estimate and fair market value with the court. So there are some alternative options available. Green Acres program is pleased to announce its 2026 funding round. Applications for land application, park development, and stewardship projects are being accepted. The deadline is February 27th, 2026. Does Colts Neck have an application in for Green Acres for land steward and acquisition? I know we got it for the park, and that's a different environment or a different bucket. Applications are no longer limited to one acquisition or park development funding. The applicant can submit up to one request for each category. Supplemental funding requests for active projects are due by February 27th, 2026. Applicant packages and forms can be found on the NJDEP funding round website. To help potential applicants, Green Acres will be hosting a number of workshops. Martha Sullivan Sapp, the director of Green Acres, was very responsive to my concerns. So if you reach out to them, they'll be more than happy to share what you can and cannot do. And her response was very, very in line. So I appreciated it. Green Acres has upcoming application information and question and answer sessions, including November 17th, November 18th, December 3rd, December 17th. Applications and details on how to join the virtual sessions are shared on the NJDEP website. So there's alternative options to building. There's alternative options to just trying to fight it. There's an option of acquiring it. And I just don't understand why that's not being explored or it's not being considered by the town. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. O'Brien. I just want to make a few comments. The town has absolutely been engaged in a variety of open space acquisitions, discussions, preservation. Some of that is not public information. Some of it has to do with litigation, which we are not able to speak of in public. It's very frustrating being elected officials and having our hands tied sometimes where we want to tell people things, we want to share certain things, and we can't. She yells at us down there. You see her, she's mean, she yells at us. The reason she yells at us is because we don't want to put the township in harm's way of being sued, basically, litigation. So it's her job to avoid us saying something that's going to get us litigated. So with that being said, absolutely, we've been in discussions with land preservation efforts and with every one of these properties that we have developers on. When you look at a public entity such as the municipality here, there are certain rules. We can't go and say, offer $28 million and pay for a piece of property. We cannot compete with developers, nor do I as a taxpayer, because for those of you who don't understand how it works, as an elected official, we do all live here. We all pay taxes here. A lot of the same frustrations as you have, which is why every single one of us has chosen to sit up here, okay, is because a lot of us have had the same frustrations and irritations. I can tell you, I've heard this man here speak on affordable housing on a couple of occasions and give me the background, right? I walk through the stages of grief, where you get angry, upset, despondent, and then action. And so that's why I chose to get involved, and I took action. This was my way of taking action. You guys are acting right now, coming here, asking questions, trying to get more information, and I applaud that. But we absolutely have been in discussions with all of those things, and I appreciate you bringing up the Green Acres stuff as well. There's tons of applications that come, and I know Committeewoman Fitzpatrick sits on farmland and open space. We work very closely with the Monmouth Conservation Foundation to attempt to preserve these properties as well. So we absolutely are trying to do all of that, but we cannot pay more than an appraised value as a municipality for a piece of property. Can we eminent domain property? Absolutely. Townships have the right. There's a lot of rules and regulations for that. And we leave open all opportunities. But one of the things that we all need to stop and think about for a minute is I would probably gather, just based upon the data, that it's in the 90s for home ownership in the town of Colts Neck. So I think about 93% of people who live in our town are home owners. So I own my home, okay? So for somebody to come along and tell me, I'm taking your home that maybe you were planning on passing down to your children, or that I think I am deserving of getting more, there is a slippery slope that comes with something like that. And we need to be very careful before we start talking about domaining every piece of property. As I said, developers with any piece of land are coming for this town to live in, right? I think most people here probably live here. So they're going to come here. They want to come here. So with that being said, we can spend billions of dollars to buy up every parcel of land here in this town. We could. But that's not going to stop being forced at some point in time to meet an obligation. So at some point in time, most likely there will be a judge who turns around and says, you need to take some of that land that you have and you need to turn it into affordable housing. So the better way to go than us buying up all the land is to encourage folks like yourselves to come out and preserve it. So if you have land, encourage your neighbors, you yourselves, preservation. You can get paid money to preserve land. Okay, so that's super important. Encourage This past election, Monmouth County had a referendum for open space. How many people voted yes for that? I know for someone like myself, that's a lot for me to vote yes and say, I'm going to pay more. But you know what? I'm willing to pay more for open space because I know it's going to prevent overdevelopment in our county. So anytime you see those referendums, make sure that you're voting yes for open space. And also just encourage proper planning. So we're asking for people to get involved on our planning boards, our zoning boards, some of our other boards. We create a plan, a municipal plan through our land use planning board that we follow. And it's really in line with the same exact thing that you all are here for, open space, farmland. But we just have to be careful about how much we dictate to people on their own pieces of property and threaten things like eminent domain. Because I know a lot of people are like, well, just take Wellspring, take Wellspring. Again, that was just,
So at this,
Yes.
may I?
yes, please do.
So it would probably just for the sake of the debate to go over what an intervener is, because there's a lot of new faces here. So it's been put in the things that probably scared a lot of people tonight was that email that were text or whenever I went out to the whole town. So that was probably 99% scare tactics, and that's a result of infighting within my own party. So I apologize for that. But the thing is this, an intervener is that we don't choose where these things come in. Let me explain how it happens. A couple of rich guys get together, they buy up 2 or 3 lots or a company, and then they come to the town and say, we can help you fill your obligation, an obligation that every state, every municipality in the state of New Jersey has. And no municipality has ever successfully won. Nobody has won. And in fact, there's upon hundreds of horror stories of what happens when you fight and lose. So the most prudent course for the town is to rely on our natural defenses. Mayor Orgo's back there, and he could tell you about hard pan and clay and why is rural, because of the way the ground is laid. And we still depend greatly on that defense. An intervener, we don't choose where these things go. A bunch of guys or a company gets together and they buy a piece of land, and then they run to the state and to the Builders Association, and then they go to Trenton and they say, Colts Neck's not letting us develop this piece of land, and they have an obligation, and that's how they come in. Right now, we have a bit of immunity from those type of cases. And rest assured, contrary to that text or whatever it was that went out today, this board is dedicated to the preservation of open space. And in fact, I would say I would challenge anyone to come up with a municipality that's done better with a similar set of circumstances. Each municipality is different. We're doing well. We're doing well. So an intervener, we don't choose where these developments go. The interveners buy it and say, we're going to tell you that we want to do this. And then we have to then come up with ways to mitigate our obligations, which we've done successfully so far. And we'll get to another chance. I just want to clarify what an intervener is. That's all.
And thank you. And I just also wanted to clarify that we do have areas in town that we have zoned for higher density housing. In our business district, south of Route 537. So there are areas in town that are what we would consider more compatible areas for something like mixed-use housing, mixed-use properties. So there are areas in town that we have done and zoned for that. Any other?
Mr. O'Brien, is what's called the REPI program, the Readiness Environment and Environmental Protection Integration by the Navy, that's funded by the National Defense Appropriations Act on an annual basis. The properties that are in play right now are on that list, and they've been contacted by the Navy. They've been contacted by our farmland and open space. They've been contacted by the Monmouth Conservation Foundation. The challenge is that preservation is voluntary. Someone has to see the value in preserving the property and keeping it natural in a week, for a month, for 10 years. It's in perpetuity. The Overbrook farm that was preserved back in 2023, 240 some odd acres, That was preserved roughly for $8 million by the county, Colts Neck, and the Navy. Okay? And when the Navy was a little light in REPI funds, the county kicked in an additional funding. So thank you to Monmouth County for that. Roughly $8 million. That means it's preserved as a farm forever. It was then sold to a TV executive. Some members have been here and heard me say this before, some members of the public, for $8 million. So the family got $16 million, but it's still a farm. It can only stay a farm. It cannot be developed. So preservation is an all volunteer. You can come to the mic and speak, sir. No, the gentleman in the back.
Mayor Orgo,
Uh,
would you like to come?
Preservation is voluntary. So again, we've been trying with these properties, but again, it's hard to compete when a developer puts many more zeros per acre than we're able to compete with.
Back years ago, Tom Orgo, 213 Harris Mill Road, Colts Neck. Back years ago, we put up a bond twice to increase the open space thing, and twice the township people voted us down. We are still at what, 1.2 cents per
Yes.
thousand, whatever it is? We wanted to make it 2.5, and we got turned down twice. So how can you do something if you don't have any money to buy it with? Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for your service.
So a lot of people view that referendum as a tax, which it is, an increase in tax. That's the one increase in tax, as Mayor Orgo said, that you should be very, very happy about, because that's the money that we do use towards programs like Mr. O'Brien was talking about to get things done. And once they're in that program, they're safe from development.
Okay,
Can I just
thank you.
add to the preservation also? Sorry. But with preservation, it's an education to the people, the farmers in town. And so you have to have that dialogue. We've had many dialogues with targeted farms. Unfortunately, as the mayor said, when someone comes to offer you $28 million, the town doesn't have $28 million. And you'd have to have a lot of sources to come and make up that money. But it's also, as I said, education, because they don't understand. So they could sell that for the development rights. And then a year later, as Overbrook did, they could sell it. It's deed restricted, which means no matter what it passes down to, it can only be a farm. It can only be what it's used for at that moment. So if someone has 200 and something acres, it would be great if they realized, why did I get all of this property? Why did I want all of this land to go and see it developed to have 500 houses on it? Is that really what they want to see? But it's about the money. So as much as we talk about it and talk to them, they have to have this vision of what they want Colts Neck to remain. So again, we do have these conversations. We do apply for grants. We've gotten a lot of opportunities that way. But now the price tag just gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Thank you. Yes, sir, in the back.
Victor Batista, 4 Bel Air Court, Colts Neck. I live adjacent to the property that's proposed to be developed on Dutch and Boundary. Is that property preserved?
No.
No.
No. So what do you?
Deed restricted.
Deed restricted. So that really doesn't have any clout.
Well,
No, we do.
It might. Apparently when Mockingbird Road or Drive was established in
Subdivided.
2001,
Okay.
in return for allowing those homes to be built, the owner of that farm agreed to deed restrict
Yeah.
his farm, which means no subdivision.
Okay.
So
So, but
250 homes
Yeah.
would be a subdivision.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to fight to
Right.
protect.
and you guys are doing a great job, I think, the board with everything. The Highway 34. It looks like a rural community. We don't have McDonald's. We don't have Walmart. You're doing great. But with that being said, if that type of property gets development, we have to protect ourselves as homeowners. Within my subdivision has about 10 houses. And one of the things that we're discussing is to gate the community. I have, my car was stolen last Christmas at 3:30 in the afternoon. Police came, they escorted the car to 18. Have a nice day, fellas. So, and it's not the police department's fault. Their hands are tied by Mr. Murphy's law. So we understand these things. But I want to protect myself. If I'm going to have 250 low-income housing there, it's going to bring crime to my backyard to me. And we were talking about gating the community, and that's something I hope when the time is going to look favorable upon, okay, like they do in Florida, because we're going to need protection if this happens. And that's, I'm bringing it to your attention now. And we have the means and the way to do it. I want to bring that to your attention. This is some of the things that are going to happen. And I want to let you know that and let you know how we feel.
Thank
And
you.
anything we can do to help you fight, you have to let us know. I feel like we don't need a little letter in the mail because somebody's bickering on the board. We need a little more. Maybe when you send us our tax assessment bill, you say, call these senators. We don't know who their number is. I'm not a computer guy. So just say call, or we sign a petition and we send it to them with 500 people's names. It's not a problem for us. We can organize something like that. So it's just something we want to help you. You
Thank
got to
you.
let us know how to help you.
So if I might,
I'm sorry.
if I might, Mr. Batista,
Yes.
your concerns and fears are valid.
Yes, no, they're not doing this for no reason. They're
250 homes is egregious. It's
Yeah.
significant.
Yeah.
They're not all affordable, though. It's called inclusionary development, so 20% would be.
A whole slate of other ones, but it's not off the table, especially if veterans housing, senior restricted, what's going to be the most, credits off the table. So the answer is yes to what you're saying. All those things are being done, have been done, and will continue to be done. And we do actively solicit. We have an entire committee set up to go to identify potential targets. I shouldn't say targets. Potential participants in the farmland preservation program, and we go to them and we talk to them and we tell them the pros and cons. Some people, deed restrictions scare some people. They don't understand that money you get up front is to kind of make up for the loss you're taking not selling it to a developer, right? So you're giving them an incentive, trying to take the pain out of that big windfall they would get. If your 100 acres is subdividable, it's worth a lot more than it is as one big piece of land. So that's the whole program. And we do have a whole committee that does nothing but go and identify spaces. We're not sitting here in town hall waiting for people to knock on the door. That
Well, maybe
committee is-
Frank is.
No, I might be. But the rest of the committee is out there, identifying these sites, and there's several of them in negotiation now. So
Excellent. Thank you. I saw another hand in the back.
Hello. Hi, my name is Nina McKittrick. I live at 62 Squonkam Road.
Can you
and
spell that?
I'm going to give you my name so you can.
You're the best, thank you.
It's clearly not her first time.
I appreciate that.
All right, I didn't bring the 10 pages, so you're lucky. But anyway, I live on Squonkam Road, which is the extension of Aubrey Road. And I'm object to the idea of high-density building on that property. It's got a very high water table there. The houses next to it flood on a regular basis. And as it sits now, it's a resource for the town because it takes in more extra water that might go some places we don't want it to. I also believe it's within the military zone for safety. There's also 20-something houses being built directly across the street right now. So that's a big change in our side of the town. I wanted to know though if I had read that there's a possibility that you could use auxiliary housing spaces as to fill our numbers for affordable housing, and if that is being looked at. And also, I thought there was a 2-for-1 option available for certain circumstances, and I didn't know if that also was available to us.
That's the rental thing.
Excellent. So if you want to if you have more things you want to bring up, I'm writing down a couple things here that we'll answer when you're finished. So if there's any other things
Okay,
I
yeah.
have down here, we're going to talk about ADUs and 2-for-1.
Okay. The only other, I want to say 2 other things. I'm thrilled that the meetings are available on YouTube now because sometimes I can't make it, so yay. Also, the website has provided so much information. I couldn't take it all in, so that was pretty neat. Thank you. And I don't know if you know, but the Scolari property on Aubrey Road, when we first moved there, they used to fly banner planes out of there, and it was kind of cool. But yeah, that property is bad news for building, and especially if you had high density building there, they would need one of those package sewage plants. And from my reading, I don't think that the soil would be conducive to that, unless there's over 5 states that have had these package systems fail miserably. Very scary. Thank you.
Excellent,
Good
thank you.
questions.
If someone wants to take the which is also known as ADUs, and the 2-for-1, if you want to touch base on that.
So the rules change every new round. And for those that were in attendance in 2020 and 2021, I made it very clear that on July 1st, 2025, this started all over again. On July 1st, 2035, it'll start all over again. On July 1st, 2045, it'll start all over again. And what I mean by starting all over again is there'll be a new obligation, and this will start all over again for 5 different people up here to deal with. So this doesn't go away. The rules change from round to round. So we were in round 3 that ended June 30th, 2025. We're now in round 4, which began on July 1st, 2025. The rules change. So in round 3, the Kushner project, which I would like to see a show of hands of how many people in this audience are happy with that. Nobody's happy with it. Allow us to finish, please. 72 of those units are affordable. There was 100% credit, so we got 144 credits. It was a 2-for-1. There's no more 2-for-1 for rentals in round 4. That's gone away. The rules change. There's a 1-to-1, I believe, for ADUs. So what an accessory dwelling unit is, it's a carriage house on your property. Who would be interested in putting in a carriage house on their property, putting in a septic field, putting in a new well, putting in a kitchen, 2 bedrooms, et cetera, getting an affordable rate and having no idea who's going to live in that house?
And
Do I see any hands?
deed restricted for over 30 years.
Pardon me?
And deed restricted for 30 years.
Right.
Yes,
So
and per the new legislation, it would
I
be
can't
45-year deed restriction.
Yeah, I can't subdivide my property, put in a dwelling unit, and have my mother-in-law live there and call it affordable. Doesn't work that way. That was done in previous rounds, and they changed the rules. So you have so if you want to put in a carriage house, that is one of our considerations. There might be zones in town that we can allow for that to happen, but you're not going to have any control over who lives there. And you're not going to be able to get a market rate to pay for your septic, that the hole you put in the ground, to pay for the foundation, to pay for the building, pay for the driveway, pay for everything, et cetera, et cetera. You're going to get an affordable rate. You're not going to get a market rate. So affordable ADUs, accessory dwelling units, are a good concept. It's a good concept. Whether or not it's real or not is a whole different story. And regarding the 25 house subdivision that's going on currently, the Mumford project, that was owned by Carol Schlumpf. They were an intervener in round 3, I'm sorry. They sued us to develop that property. They had Toll Brothers as a developer, and they wanted to put 248 townhomes in that property. We defended the 3,000-foot setback. It's down 90%. 25 is still a high number, but it's not 248. And they're all 100% market rate. So there's no affordable units there. They will pay 1% of the improvements on the property into the developer's trust. The developer's trust is exactly that. A developer builds these 25 units. They make $1 million of improvements building a house on a blank piece of land. They make a $10,000 donation to the developer's trust. It's not our money. It can only be used to improve the delivery of affordable housing. Right now, our round 3 judgment, which we are appealing, encumbers that $1.3 million. If we had access to that $1.3 million, we would be using that money to extend the affordability controls at the grant. So right now, we are in appeal. We expect that appeal to be heard sometime next year. We hope to prevail. We do believe it was legislating from the bench. The judge went off script. So hopefully we will prevail. If that is the case and we're successful, we will take the monies that are in the Affordable Trust and we will pay back the taxpayers' bonds. So that's our longer term plan. So accessory dwelling units are, like I said, a concept. It doesn't necessarily fit.
And as far as the 2-to-1 credits, there are certain types of housing that you can get double credit for. So in round 3, rental units came with a 2 credit. So you basically, for 1 unit, you got 2 unit credits. There are certain types of housing that is right now you could get a 2-for-1 credit, such as special needs housing, group homes, transition homes, things like that. You can get 2-for-1 credits. So not oftentimes the type of housing people are interested in having in their communities, but those are types of 2-for-1 credits. So
There's caps. We'll talk about the caps.
oh yes, and with all of these types of housing, it's very complicated, but there are caps on what you can get credit for. So if our number was 101, we can't do 101 units of senior housing and get full credit for that, because there are caps on the number. There's a cap on the number of bonus credits you can have. So that is why we have our professionals that we pay to make sure we're compliant, to let us know how we can maximize our credits and units, to get the least amount of building and development in our town, not because we're trying to keep out anybody, but because it's very important for us to minimize overdevelopment because we are a rural town. I saw another hand in the back. Yes, right there.
Name's Tony Sasso, 19 Deputy Minister Drive in Colts Neck. I'm fairly new to a lot of this, trying to get my head around it all, but I have a few questions based on everything.
I want to hear your questions and
Yeah,
comments.
like I was saying, I'm kind of new to this, but I'm certainly very interested in what's going on. And in particular, since we're talking about 3 properties that are now, I heard the plan's been filed, and that's giving us some protection. But I also heard that there's and there are large numbers of objectors. So exactly what are the next steps and how well are we protected, or what needs to be done to stop the development on these 3 properties we're speaking of? That would be my question.
Thank you.
And second question, with respect to round 4, you said it began July 1st, 2025. When does that end? Is this an annual process or is this a longer
10
period?
years. 10 years.
10 years.
Then it starts again.
Okay, well, 10 years is a lot of time. So my next question would be to meet this. Seems like we have a remaining round 4 of 68 units. I heard 101 less 21 less 12. Sounds like we've got 68 more. I assume if we have 10 years to deal with 68 units, the plan accounts for that. And hopefully with these, there's a process to beat off these objectors. That's the part I'm really interested in, what we really have to do to stop this from happening because of this large number of units. I mean, I think in total it's almost 1,000 units, it sounds like, which is pretty incredible. So those are, I think, my key questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Did you guys want to jump in there with the next steps?
So there are 3 objectors, as Deputy Mayor Viola said. There's Fair Share Housing, there's Active Acquisitions, there's March Associates. As part of the process, we are now in mediation with these objectors. So I know people have said that we've been sued and we're in litigation. Not yet. We're not in litigation. We're in mediation. There is a retired judge that is overseeing the process. There is a special mediator appointed by the judge who is trying to act as an in-between, go-between between the towns. We've already had one hearing. There's another hearing coming up, I think, on November 17. Our position is clear. No development at Well Springs Farm and no development on Aubrey Road. I don't know how you settle if we're at no and they're at yes, but that process will play out. Eventually, there'll be a decision. And you can come up and ask a question in a second. If the developers and those interveners don't like the result, they're going to sue us and we'll be in litigation. So that's going to be expensive, but we're committed with your help and your support to litigate it for as long as we need to maintain control over our zoning and make sure that there is no development occurring, high density development occurring in properties that are not suitable for it. May it take a year, 2, 3, 4, whatever it is, buckle up, because that might happen and we might be in litigation going forward. But what choice do we have? We can't roll over, so we're going to have to fight it.
You know, it's interesting that we're in round 4, and that's a very astute observation that it's a 10-year period. You have those 10 years to meet that obligation. They want to force us into doing things that we don't want to do as quickly as possible so we make a mistake. That's not going to happen. Why shouldn't we be given more time to move our plans to fruition? That's the question number 1 for the court. Why does this have to be decided by January 1st or whatever the date is? We have the 10-year period to meet the 101. We do have an unfulfilled obligation from the last round of 138, but we also have 160 credits from round 3. So it's not like we didn't say that you're acting in bad faith, you've been stymieing, you've been putting up roadblocks at every opportunity for a developer to help Colts Neck meet its affordable housing obligation, yet still be able to deliver affordable units. They're contradicting themselves. So we should be given the time to make our plan come to fruition.
And everybody kind of asks, like, well, how did Levana get there? Well, that was partially a smart developer who bought a piece of land over 30 years ago and held that land and used the system when the legislation changed. So, you know, again, we can Monday morning quarterback previous governing bodies like, well, why didn't they buy that land? Why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that? People do what they can with the information they have at the time, and they do the best they can. With that being said, we used to have something called RCAs, which were regional contribution agreements. So you were able to get your units to through another town, such as Long Branch for us. So we paid Long Branch, I believe it was $3 million, to build affordable housing there. And some people saw it as giving away, you know, housing to another town. So you didn't have to have people in your town that were affordable. That's not what it was. It's paying other towns to build it where it's needed. So right now we're in region 4 of affordable housing. We're Ocean, Monmouth, and Mercer County. So people on this list, there's over 15,000 people that sit on these affordable housing lists. Yes, it's almost 16,000 people that live on these lists. And what they do is they go person by person. So an affordable unit might open up in Colts Neck, and you might have someone from Trenton getting placed in one of these properties. So that's where it's just how it works. So the town back in the day would, okay, so maybe we would build in Trenton or we'd build in East Windsor. That legislation changed. In fact, I think it might have been Chris Christie who got rid of that, the RCAs. I could be wrong, don't quote me. And overnight, that pretty much stopped being able to be something, a tool in the toolbox that municipalities could use. So they didn't plan for all this affordable housing. So you basically had Kushner who came along and said, I can help you meet your affordable housing, and you're not doing enough. And a judge agreed with that. So that's how Levana got there. We haven't been sleeping behind the wheel. I know I'm one of the newer committee members here. So I wasn't involved with when Lavana was being in the planning board process. I remember being a resident watching these meetings because they were at the time being live streamed. People have been working ever since to develop a plan and put plans in place. Did you want to add to that? Did you say that?
No, the mayor hit the nail on the head. So we borrowed $2.915 million for 106 credits in Long Branch. Do the math, it's $27,000 a unit back in the late 90s. But those were taken off the dole. That was a program which moved the housing to where it was needed, where there was transit, where there was jobs. We don't have any big box providers. We don't have water and sewage. If you want water and sewage, you're going to get development. You're going to get Kmart's. You're going to get Trader Joe's. If you want a Trader Joe's and all that stuff, remember, they want to build houses. They'll build that stuff so they can build houses because there's many more numbers in the houses. So be careful what you ask for. As far as I want Starbucks drive-through, I want more car washes, I want Trader Joe's, I want a drive-through McDonald's. Very risky, very, very risky. But RCAs are no longer available. I know that the unsuccessful gubernatorial candidate had a plan for relocating housing where it was needed, near transit hubs, where train stations, ferries, bus depots, et cetera, we have one bus stop in front of the inn. That's it. It goes from Freehold to Brookdale. That's the only mass transit we have in the town. And I don't think I've ever seen anybody on the bus. That's just me. Please come up.
Hi, Patricia Mitchell, 30-year resident here, Colts Neck, 39 Rimwood Lane. I live right before the Reservoir Bridge. I live in the Reservoir development. It's the last development in Colts Neck on the Lincroft border. They're in the they're in the construction phase right now of redeveloping that bridge. After Superstorm Sandy, that bridge was reconstructed. And now I don't recall seeing any notification through the county. I believe it's a county road. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So I don't recall seeing any notifications from the county regarding this construction of this bridge. They're down to one lane. According to the website for Marbro, the so-called developer and the construction company, it's a 2-year project. I heard through the grapevine that their ambition is to widen Phalanx Road to a 4-lane highway from the community college, from Brookdale, all the way down Phalanx, our little windy road, to 34. So that's concerning for Colts Neck. I mean, eminent domain of all the Colts Neck homes on either side. I sit on the Historic Preservation Committee. We have a number of historic homes on Phalanx. No, nothing's been said about this to any of the residents that this impacts. It's at least a 1-minute light to wait there, and the construction over the Reservoir Bridge is massive. So I'd like some answers regarding that. Why was the construction necessary? My concern with regard to the affordable housing issues that we're up against is that their plan with the county and the state is that they do plan on widening that road so they can use that as an access road for construction trucks. There were literally today, I was on the road at 3:20. That's when the buses are on the road. At 3:20 p.m., there were 4 large construction trucks from that bridge site going down Phalanx. 4 in a row. I was by St. Mary's, and then 2 buses passed by on that road, not but a minute later. I mean, why hasn't the town, that seems like an accident waiting to happen. They have large trailers. These are massive construction trucks. It's a 2-lane windy road. On any given day, we have e-bikes on there. We have cyclists. I've even seen some workers, Mexican workers who work on some of the farms with their high-vis vest on their little bicycles. I mean, people in my community, over by Rimwood, by the reservoir section, we'd like to know what's going on. What should we expect for the next 2 years? Is it going to, what's the master plan for the county? Will it be developed into a 4-lane road? It's currently a little 2-lane access road.
Yeah, thank you, Patricia. So as someone who did get stuck on that bridge, as some of folks from our fire department know, there were some issues regarding fire equipment on that. I am not aware of any plans in place. I believe that there was a structural improvements being made to the bridge.
Yeah, I can, if you want to reach out, where'd she go? There you are. If you want to give me a call in the office tomorrow, I can give you some additional details. I don't have them at the ready to share, but my understanding is it's a bridge reconstruction project by the county. I've never heard anything about widening the road.
Yeah,
I've not either.
Yeah.
I haven't either.
And they should have reached
Um,
out to the community. That was our understanding when they did the pre-construction meeting. So whatever information I can find, I'll dig up tomorrow.
But please reach out to the county officials.
The obvious concerns about buses on the road simultaneously with these massive dump trucks with massive trailers.
Yeah, no, Patricia, it is very
I
concerning.
encourage
So,
you to
and
reach out to the county and ask the county commissioners and the county administrators.
So did the residents of Bolton.
They usually do. That surprises me because usually when there is a county organized project, whether it's road resurfacing or in this case, a bridge reconstruction, they do, either door flyers or some type of reach out. Typically, especially if there's going to be a partial road closing or something of that nature. So I can't
Yeah,
answer
so-
that as to why, because it's not our project. Certainly
So
our
Patricia,
projects
we can see what we can find out from the
Right.
county's perspective. I know somebody who lives over on Rimwood who did receive a letter about some of the temporary road closures. And I know that they were working with the schools with the buses. So there was some communication, maybe not enough. But we certainly can look into that. If we get information, we can report back at our next meeting as well. But certainly we'll look into that.
Thank you.
Welcome, Major Penzak. I hope you're enjoying retirement. Look
most
at
of it.
nice
Greg
and
Penzak.
tan.
Oh,
So I'm suffering.
yeah.
But Greg Penzak, 8 Partridge Way. All right, just, I always think outside the box. We have Huddy's, Colts Neck Inn, the Source, the pub, the distillery, 5 golf courses. Is there any way that the town, and we just had apple picking season, we know about the crowds then. Can't you attach something to Colts Neck Business Administration could work this out? 25 cents to people getting a beer. I know every golfer would pay an extra $1 to play around the golf. I'm sure it would be thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of dollars. Just simply, instead of always looking at, I always hear, well, if we raised our taxes a little bit. No tax raises. Just, I think there's other ways that you could raise a lot of money by working through the business association, through our businesses. And it would be beneficial to the whole community. Other things, the Christmas season is coming up. A lot of our towns, people decorate very nicely. A lot of people ride around to look at the lights. Maybe a little advertising, telling people, hey, when you're here for apple picking, hey, come back at Christmas and hire somebody to put up a nice merry-go-round in that field next to the source. And, all of that money could go to all of these things that you need money for to fight Trenton. I mean, basically, that's what we're talking about. I was always, I'm a Marine, so I always think of ways to defeat the enemy. And I look at Trenton, especially now in that light. And, we need to take the fight to the enemy. Money for the litigation, try to get other communities to join in with us and search outside the box instead of being focused on always doing it the same way. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Major.
Thank you for your service, Major.
And yes, we appreciate your service. I would say this body up here, as a municipality, we cannot encourage and push fundraising, those kinds of things, but I would certainly encourage citizens out there, if you're looking to come up with a cause, mobilize, I would encourage that, and raise money. And I do think it's good to think outside the box as well on some of those things, and whether or not it's raising money to help preserve land, develop projects that people want to see in town. I think thinking outside the box, and that's why we do appreciate the public feedback as well, because some of the things that we've come up with, ideas, is come from the public. So we have a lot of smart people in this town, and I think that goes a long way and is helpful.
In the interim, you can donate to the Monmouth Conservation Foundation for 100% donation deductibility, and you can say that you want your gift to only preserve property in Colts Neck, and they will honor that. It's year end, people are looking at places to donate money. That's a great place.
Excellent.
Thank you,
In the
Mr. Penzak.
Major.
Once a major, always a major.
Good evening. Christine Tipton, 24 Crown Road. Very quickly, I just want to revisit the property at Dutch and Cedar. You said that it's, and I'm addressing you because you're the attorney. Let's go. It's deed restricted, and it can't have multiple dwellings built on it. But what is the other restriction? Like, it has to remain a farm, because I see the sheep there every day.
Yeah.
So what's the?
So as far as we know, and again, we're 24 hours into this because we just learned of this on Tuesday, I think the Monday or Tuesday. It's deed restricted, which prohibits subdivision of the property. What that usually means is that it must remain in the condition it's in when the deed was put in. So the current owners were building one home on that property. That would be acceptable. That would be permitted. But carving it up any more than that, and certainly with 250 proposed townhomes on it, that would be outside the bounds of the deed restriction. So our lawyers are looking into it, and we will continue to defend whatever the restriction is on that property. And because the property is deed restricted, it means it's not suitable for high density development.
So at some point, can you just put one of those, those big signs that say, homeland preserved, and then you have one home on it? Can you do that?
Yeah, if the homeowner, it's not preserved.
It's not preserved.
The owner of that property would have to enter into that preservation agreement.
Okay.
So there's no preservation agreement as there is with the Maida property, Overbrook, and some other properties around town that are preserved. But it's deed restricted nonetheless and cannot be subdivided.
Okay. Question number 2. Okay, so now the new round started July 1st, and it goes until next June of 26. And now we're into mediation.
The next round, just to clarify, is 10 years. So it
10
goes till July 1st of 2035.
Okay, cool, thank you. The fact that you're in mediation for these 3 cases, at what point are, my understanding, we submitted them in June, and you submitted them to the state, and you have, I guess, so many months that people can complain. Of course, now we have 3. At what point do they actually put a stamp on it and say, you've met your obligation? Can this mediation then go into another year or 2? What's the time frame?
Yeah, there is a time limit on the mediation. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's not going to go in to next year. Eventually, there will. Is it the judge? Is it the retired judge that will render a decision on this program as to whether or not those objections by the interveners are valid or not, or whether our position is valid or not. We're going to defend that 3,000-foot line, for example, on Wellsprings Farms. We think that we have a very good argument there why Wellsprings Farm ought to not be developed and why the objection by active acquisitions should not carry the day.
Part B, at what point, like what if we get some more of these when do you end up stopping?
So the objection period is over.
Good.
No
Okay.
more objectors can come in. There was a deadline, I believe, August 31st. So no other objectors can come in and object to our round 4
Okay.
plan that we filed on June 30th. So we're in this mediation with these 3 objectors. It'll play out over the next couple of months. We'll have a decision, and then we'll know what we're going to do after that.
And then what did we just find out about the one in, I might be confused. How
Yeah,
did we
so
find that out?
Good question. Yeah. Active acquisitions, that's just an intent to purchase this property. It has
Oh.
nothing to do with the mediation. It has nothing to do with an objection, completely separate.
Okay.
They have now just found this piece of property, and apparently they're in contract to purchase it, the one on Dutch Lane.
Okay. And finally, the concept of collecting food for the veterans, is that like always an ongoing thing?
It's actually going on till December 8th, and if you'd like a flyer, I do have one there.
Yeah,
and
the
it's
reason
also on
I
our
mention
website.
this is because my husband and I have a personal friend. He actually runs the food pantry for both Dick's, Lakehurst, and Earl.
Oh.
And they feed, it's only active, over 1,000 active military families a week.
Wow.
So they go to, I think, they get like bread from Bimbo, bread companies. So, I mean, the need is there. So if you can all just,
Absolutely.
Consider
Yes,
it.
thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. I also just wanted to clarify that DAR, in addition, is doing separate collections for Fort Dix and Lakehurst. Our donation here in town is actually being directed to Naval Weapons Station Earl specifically, but both needed. You had your hand up, and then we'll go back here.
I'm Lauren Franco-Lucas. A couple things. I went on the fairsharehousing.org website and just surfing through the website, just so you know, during campaigning, Governor-elect Sheriff promised to tackle outdated zoning laws. So just in case you're wondering, that's on the website. You can read up and look on that.
I'm sorry, Lauren, could you just repeat that? Because I
Sure.
didn't quite hear you.
On the fairsharehousing.org website, during the campaign, Governor-elect Sheriff promised to tackle outdated zoning laws that are blocking homes, affordable housing homes, from being built. So it's on the website. You can all look. Now that she's going to be our governor, I'm assuming, obviously, that this is something that she is going to be.
Part of the resolution that we're talking
Yeah,
about.
Yes.
I think that's.
Yes. So all of you, please send your letters, do what you need to do and help our town and help the state, because we're all going to be, dealing with this for a long time. In regards to the Wellsprings, has there been any communication with the Sierra Club or Chris Smith to help organize more strength or things to talk about, to discuss, to fight this, other than just the Navy?
The way, ask all your questions.
Yeah, and then
we
we'll.
went out of turn a little bit with the last question, but if you have other questions,
Mhm.
we'll address all the questions at once.
Okay.
That we can.
That's pretty much it. I'm just trying to, think of other things we can tackle while we're talking to the mediator, things that maybe Sierra Club and other people can just substantiate other issues to bring up that'll help stop it.
So we have professionals, we have environmentalists, we have lawyers, land use experts. We have probably one of the best land use firms in the state working on this on behalf of the citizens of Colts Neck. We've been in touch with every elected official in the state on both sides of the aisle. And we continue to do everything. I just like to say, while everyone's assembled, I always, and I apologize because some of the people have heard this speech before, but I see some new faces. So what's happening here tonight is you go, it's almost like the 5 stages of grieving, anger, denial, acceptance, bargaining, all that stuff. And I see some people are in different stages of it. And some people get arrested in the anger stage, right? And then there's disbelief, right? There's no way that this is the law. It is. I suggest go on the website. Start with Wall Township, for example, our neighbor, our beloved neighbor to the south. They got hammered worse than any town in Monmouth County. And they fought tooth and nail valiantly. And at the end of the day, they had a lot of 2,000 something units they had to build, 2,000 something units they had to build. So look at our obligation compared to our neighbors. Look at all the towns of Monmouth County. Look at all the towns up in Bergen County. Look at the towns and then compare our situation with theirs. And I would propose tonight in front of you all that we're mitigating this as successfully as a municipality ever has. Because when you do lose, they take away your zoning, they take away your planning, and they'll say you can't even pull a permit to do your bathroom until that's built. And they've done it in towns.
And just to clarify, all those pieces of land that are, there's contracts to purchase right now are all zone 10-acre zoning. So they're one home per 10 acres. That property at 151 Dutch Lane Road, as a condition of approval of them building that very large home that's being built there, they had to, before they could get the certificate of occupancy, remove the farmhouse that was in front. So, because that's how it's zoned. So what Committeeman Rizzuto is saying is that we want to preserve our zoning, because if we get stripped of that, they can come in and tell us, no, you're going to put it there, even though it's 10-acre zone. So, and just to answer back to the question of, yes, we have been in contact with our state legislators, our congressmen. But again, we're defending based upon a 3,000-foot setback and incompatible land development on certain properties. And that's not even getting into the environmental constraints on these properties, but we haven't yet gotten to that point yet.
And so you have two things, and I'm seeing that tonight. We've had town hall meetings, I don't know how many now, 200-300 people there that lasted 3-4 hours. This has all been very public. This is our strategy's always been out there for the public to, so what you're getting is there's a political infighting going on. And so what you're having is they're capturing the people who are arrested in these stages of, wherever they're just learning about this. And they're saying, in all of these meetings, there was two veins of questioning. Either you missed something, meaning us, you must have missed something, right? Or you're on the take. Two choices, right? I can guarantee you, none of them, we're all volunteers. We limit ourselves to 9 years in office. We are not, none of us will be here in after your term is served, you're done. We're not professional politicians. We don't make a living off of this like some people do and other politicians. We are volunteers, right? So this is what we do. This is all we do. So I can guarantee you that option's off the table. So the second one is, and I got a little bit of that tonight, you must have missed something. I guarantee you, we are looking at every option. We are fighting the fight when we need to fight. We're ducking, covering up when we have to. And it's going on forward. We're in a period of immunity, and we're willing to defend the town. And that's simply put. I apologize for those of you who got wound up by that silly thing that went around and got everyone angry, but it's easy to do politically if me and you were arguing and I want to, you're soft on this issue. It's an easy way to get votes. And I apologize again for that.
It worked for me. That's why I got involved.
Yeah. But we're on it. There's some people who are going to get up who are, part of this little kerfuffle that's going on, and I'm sure we'll hear from them. So
I just have one more question too. In regards to Mike Sherrill saying that about wanting to change these outdated zoning laws, would that be something that could affect the current phases that we're assigned, that we have to do? If she's going to be changing, can she change zoning laws for stuff like, for example, for
She would have to
the
get
well
it passed in
springs?
the legislature, so it would have to go through
So
that
it would
process.
be how long? When would that take effect? Like,
It depends
Well,
on
that
when she
depends on
presents
how she's presenting it.
that's on.
When she's
I
presenting.
can't see a way as it would affect round 4.
I could see them trying.
I can see him trying, so I'm not
Yeah,
gonna say
they
I'm
could
not
try to make it affect round 4.
Just count on that legislation S4736 to be in round 1.
Because it clearly says that in here, so.
And
Yeah.
the point, Ms. Franco, elections have consequences.
yeah, for sure. I know.
Yeah,
Right.
this one
Elections
did.
have
Sadly,
consequences.
it's just, thank you.
Mr. LaTrenta.
Oh, thank you. Doug LaTrenta, 11 Downing Hill, and a good meeting tonight, okay? Mayor, I think that farmhouse is still there at 151. I don't think they tore it down yet.
Yes, in order to get the CO
Okay,
for
no,
the
that's fine.
house,
That's
that
fine.
that was a
Okay,
condition
that's fine.
of the certificate of occupancy.
At Wellspring, is Earl and the federal government taking any position in a lead, or are we taking the lead in this?
The Navy's not a regulatory agency. They rely on the townships that.
So the federal government's not involved in helping us or getting involved in
Federal
protecting?
government is aware. Whether they're going to be able to do anything for us yet is
Well,
unknown.
why don't we go to Chris Smith and put a lot of pressure on him?
We're doing that.
Okay, great.
And you saw the letter that the Navy wrote, 4-page letter.
That's only, yeah.
Extremely helpful letter. on our
Hopefully,
website.
they continue those actions. Okay. Dan, you brought up something good about the sign, put it up on 537 and having the county pay for that fully. Keep that stuff up. When we don't have to pay for something, that's wonderful. I like to hear that. Keep that up. But you do mention in your Facebook, holding the line on quote unquote spending on tax matters. Everything said tonight is gonna cost us a lot of money. What I ask you to be is 100% transparent on legal fees, lawsuit fees, additional bonds that need. We need to know the next budget and the budget after, how this is going to impact us, because I heard the 9% increase. That's wonderful, but that's only in our town. You could try to take that 9% appreciation on our property. The county, I mean, we paid them $2 million, like you said, okay? So that little garden they're putting up, we paid for.
Yes, you did
Okay?
pay county taxes.
Please promise us you'll be 100% transparent. No, oh, it's on the legal, we can't tell you because of legal. When it comes to the budget, where can we see it? Who do we meet with? And how can we know that each and every department in this town is going to take Dan's position of holding the line? That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. LaTrenta.
Wait. We on the same page?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
I do
Look,
too.
I'm going to speak for myself here.
Yeah, please.
I want to keep our taxes as low as we possibly can.
Thank you.
I want to save money where we can.
Thank you.
I want to be as transparent as we can. But I also want to be honest. We're in for a fight. It's a
gonna cost.
legal fight. It's going to be expensive. All right. We're going to hold taxes for 2026, hopefully, as Deputy Mayor said, right? That's the headline for tonight.
You're the one who made that decision on making the county pay, right? A few years back?
It was a group decision.
You always do that. Okay,
But
that's fine.
For 2027, 2028, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. But let's stay united because it's going to be expensive. Litigation is expensive. I'm a lawyer.
Well,
I know.
that's why we have to
let's-
look at other things to
let's-
cut.
Yes.
So that it's not as expensive. My last comment, when you say the kerfuffle of an email and stuff like that, you represent everyone in the town. Please, not everyone's going to agree with you. Don't bring that up anymore, because all that does is irritate people. Okay, we know there's going to be nasty grams out there. That's coming. You signed up for these jobs. Let it go.
Yeah, well,
I know it's not easy.
But we also need to clarify the right.
Then just say the facts.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we did tonight. Thank you.
cool.
Ms. So the email said, we caved. So fact. There's no caving.
Yeah,
I think you heard it. We
that's
made
a
it clear
popular
tonight.
word
So-
lately,
Yeah.
caving.
So
But I
can I
appreciate
just
that.
say
I
this
appreciate
in
that.
relation
Okay,
to that?
I appreciate that.
And for our cheaper committee folk who are always holding the line, not just this year,
Yeah, that's
always.
fine. Good.
I appreciate your cheapness. I just want to state for when I say we can't discuss legal matters, this is a bills list. Whoever the finance chair is has to go through every single one of these. They look at receipts. You can't buy a pencil in our municipality without it showing up on this bills list. So when we look at transparency, Legal fees, you guys can, and we have had some of our residents who have gone through and seen how much money we've spent on affordable housing for 2024 or back in 1999, because you can get that. But what I'm saying is, I agree with you 100%. I am fully on board with the lack of divide. I personally would never use the term kerfuffle. But with that being said, I could not agree with you more. I appreciate you saying that. And transparency is super important. I just wanted people to know that you can look at this information. every meeting.
Transparency is communication, okay? And I truly believe we could all do a better job communicating open and honestly, okay? Please.
Thank you. I see a hand in the back.
Nunzio Nucci, 5 Wide Horizons Drive.
Can you spell that?
Nunzioinnucci. First of all, I want to thank everybody for taking time away from their families to be here tonight. Appreciate that. Simple question. I know we're on the defense all the time. Like, but do we have an offensive plan? Meaning, hey, do we present, we want to fulfill, 10 units over the next 6 years, work with a builder in town, work with some property in town that you guys own so we can fulfill that without getting that ratio of 4 or 5 to 1. That's all.
Great question. Thank you.
And I would just answer that with that those are things that we do work on so that we don't have to necessarily do inclusive developments that are a 5 to 1 ratio. But again, when we're able to speak on these things, we certainly will be as transparent as we can.
I know there are plenty of builders in town that would be willing to help the town and not make, people don't need to hit a home run. Just to break even to help the town would be good.
Well, just to clarify,
Yes.
we only have 2 lots in town that we could put building on. They're each 1 acre. All our other land is on the recreation and open space roster, or it's preserved, or it has other deed restrictions on it. We do not have a plot of 30 acres that we could work a deal out with a developer to meet our need.
So when you have property with deed restrictions and other people do, and they're fighting you.
What he meant was the township doesn't own property outright that's not deed restricted, only 2 lots, and both of them are tiny.
Okay, but I'm just saying, if there is deed restricted property that we could use, if you wanted to, I'm not telling you to do that. It seems like other people are trying to do that and hurt the town, where if we did it, it could help us.
Yeah, I understand.
And that goes into the question of the eminent domain that we heard before. All options are on the table and we're looking at that. But to answer your question about what are we doing affirmatively, in our plan on the Grand to extend affordability at the Grand, that's part of our affirmative offensive plan so that we're not always playing defense to reduce our numbers. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kevin Pierce, 22 Fireside Drive. Thanks for everything tonight, very informative. Just in terms of mobilizing, I mean, the text message is, the outcome was people got motivated from it. But I think if we can get a better understanding of how we can mobilize to support your efforts, anything like if we have messaging coming out from all of you, email this person, or get your friends involved, get your neighbors involved, contact these people and do it. It would be very helpful for us to figure out a way, because I'll be honest with you, I'm not online, I'm not following everything you're doing. So maybe I'm not, you guys are doing obviously a lot. I learned a lot tonight, but if you can tell us more, or someone can provide more direction in terms of who we can contact and how we can mobilize to help that fight, would be greatly appreciated.
Can we put on the website our legislators how to contact Chris Smith and LD11?
And then like even the bills, if you need to reference Yeah, language.
We should put that on there.
Yeah.
I do also just want to state that from the municipality standpoint, I spoke of, we have a lovely township attorney over here who's been with us for many, 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 many years, who always tries to keep us on our toes and avoid litigation. The township has got to, and again, everybody has their personal thoughts, their personal feelings, and some choose to express it on social media. I happen to be someone who is not on social media and using it in that forum, to some people's dismay, some people happy. But with that being said, the municipality as a whole cannot be politicized and giving direction to residents in any way, shape, or form. Just to be clear, like, we can't say against development. We can't say against affordable housing or for affordable housing. We have to be very careful from the municipality standpoint, the messaging that goes out. Like, we cannot tailor those messages. We can just simply say, you really need to contact your legislators, because again, these are mandates that come from the state. So I just want to be clear about that. But we do a lot of personal conversations with people where we engage with folks, things like, people who have land in town. Could we potentially do something with that? Those are kinds of conversations that we do have. But from a township-wide perspective, you're never going to see a note on our website that suggests that we do that kind of thing. And I don't know if one of you was about to jump in.
So you had mentioned you're not on notifications or anything, but we do have a feature on our website to subscribe to notifications, so that when the webmaster puts up, your legislators are Christopher Smith, his number, Vin Gopal, his number, Margie Donlin, Luann Peter Paul, their numbers, et cetera. It would send a notification to you, so you would then have it on your phone.
Sure.
So consider subscribing to notifications on the website.
Thank you
That's
for
how
that
stay-
reminder. Yes, news and notifications is key.
Maybe it could be one of those volunteers that you talked about before. If there's a volunteer for a committee that's not part of your, could a volunteer who's intimate with the details do that type of communication without it making you all liable?
Yeah, it's
Or
pretty
is it
much the same thing. And
It's
Megan,
under-
if you'd
it's
like
under
to
the
kind of
same
chime in
umbrella.
on that
Yeah,
one from,
it's under the same umbrella. The township can't be used.
So
as a
just to be
political-
crystal clear, though, when and again, this is unfortunately a victim of the election. When we say we're in litigation, nobody's allowed to talk when you're in litigation. You're getting divorced, whatever litigation it is, the cone of silence, like Get Smart, right, comes down over your head, and nobody's. So if you have somebody who's opposed to you in the political world, they'll say, they can't. I asked them a question, they can't answer, because nobody can answer. And if you don't think the other side's out there watching right now, you're mistaken. So I'm probably in trouble for saying that in that way. So if the people who are in favor of high density housing are watching, waiting for the mistakes, and we've made several, but what I'm telling you is, and then what happens, it gets politicized. You can't talk because it's litigation. Everything. Our plan has been out there since I've been on this committee. And we've had town hall meetings with 400 people, 300, 400 people that lasted hours. Many. The plan is on the website. The plan is here. We're here. So please, and I'm going to start sending out silly texts, because this is the best situation right here. People, and I see a lot of people, okay. And they're understanding the process. And I don't expect everyone to be in the same level as we are, because you're still angry about this, or you're still in denial, or you're still in bargaining, or whatever you're in. I get it. I think I'm arrested in all the stages of grief over this. But rest assured, the only two possible conclusions someone who's new to this is going to come in is, we've missed something, which I've heard a little bit tonight, or we're not doing the right thing, wink, wink. Neither of them is true. A very basic inquiry into our plan will show you how well we've done. Our numbers show you how well we've done. That's why I encourage everyone here, go home. Just look up one town. Look up Wall, for instance, just because it's our neighbor and everyone knows where it is. Look at their obligation. And they did everything according to the conservative playbook. They fought, you're going to pry it out of my dead hands. They're going to increase, if all those houses get built, according to the Asbury Park Press, they're going to have a 21 or 2% increase in their total population, housing population. So what I'm saying is, we're doing it, and we're out there fighting for you. And if you take nothing away, and then come up and ask afterwards.
Yes, and we have 3 hands over there in the back, so we'll go for one. And then at the end, I'll provide my phone number. Um,
Hi,
yes.
my name is Dan Krasankis, Kryzanekas, 126 Montrose Road in Colts Neck. Been here almost 30 years. 5 kids went through the school system. And I spoke to you, remember?
I do remember,
All right.
Dan.
Now, according to your, I just want to go back, you said something about a 20% population increase.
Or
We got
housing stock increase.
Okay, well, we got like a 10% population increase just around the corner, right across the street from a high school, where people there's fatalities in front of 5 Points Road and 537. But beside the point, everything's good over there, all right? I'm concerned now about more of it coming in. And now we just heard about Wellspring, we heard about Obrey, and now we hear about Dutch Lane. Okay, that's another about 200 units going in about a 2-mile, 3-mile span away from another high density. Why don't you guys put in some type of legislation or a code or something where you can't have high density within 7 miles of another high density, units? Because we're about 30 square miles. Now you don't need 360 units and another 250 units within 2 or 4 miles together. Secondly, Montrose Road. Since I've been there, I think there's been 3 fatalities on Montrose in front of the Loving's house, 2 in front of, and another one a little further down. One of the fatalities, they live in town. They hit my dog. The police about them speeding and whatnot. The next week, he hit the tree over by the Loving's house and was dead. I spoke to you about lowering the speed limit, like on Bucks Mill Road, 25 miles per hour and 35 miles per hour. Where you told me that there was a study looking into that. Where are we on that study? Secondly, I want to know that you're talking about 10-acre zoning. Dutch Lane is 10-acre zoning. It has, deed restrictions on it. So did, the Colts Neck Manor. That was 10-acre zoning, wasn't it?
Well,
I believe it was.
So,
And all of a sudden that changed
So
to
can
high
I-
density housing. How did our master plan change from 10 acres to high density housing? And if anything is 10 acres in town, how can it stay 10 acres? And can it be changed to high density just like that was changed from 10 acres to high density? So I know you have a lot of, great ideas and great things, and I appreciate all the information you've given me, but I'm on my way out of here.
Michael?
I just want to chime in about, so Dan, you're not the only one who I've spoken to about Montrose Road and the speed. The chief of police and Officer Tomeo, who is our traffic safety officer, are involved in that.
Okay.
I don't have a follow-up for you on where they stand with that now. So basically for people the way it works, we do not set the speed limits ourselves. And in order to change it, there needs to be a traffic study done. They collect data and do all that, and then can possibly make changes accordingly.
Okay,
So
2
that,
fatalities, there's data, or 3 fatalities is data.
so
And-
Dan,
Okay,
I just want to
okay,
finish. I
okay,
just want to
go ahead.
finish. So what I'm saying is the chief of police and our traffic safety officer are aware and they're working on that. So it wasn't just your concern. There's definitely several concerns regarding Montrose Road and speed, as we've had people here for like New Street, several other issues.
Okay,
So
and can I ask you one more question? When I'm going down 530, every street has a turn lane except one. And I got almost rear-ended there 3 times already in the last 4 months. Bucks Mill, I make a left. Why isn't there a turn lane going down Bucks Mill Road?
So the county actually is doing that next.
Okay.
So they were doing Montrose and now they're moving to Bucks Mill. I don't know if there's an estimated time frame. I don't, Kathleen, you might know, I don't know yet, but I have seen surveyors there, so they must be getting close. So the county will be doing that. I wanted to get back to just real quick, and then you guys can chime in, why that happened. And that's exactly where some of us are shocked that these things can happen. So I just want to clarify. We do have legislation in our town that we have zoned our municipality in a way that you would think makes for smart planning. 10-acre zoning in areas that are appropriate, okay? Actions in place as it stands right now. That's not considered a deed restriction, okay? A deed restriction
I
is a
understand that.
totally different thing. So we do have those protections in place. But unfortunately, due to developers utilizing the affordable housing laws that have been handed down from the state level, there are ways that municipalities can be forced to change zoning. And that's what happened on the Lavana
Okay,
property.
so that can happen anywhere in town then?
Yes.
Okay, correct.
Potentially speaking.
So
Potentially,
there-
the,
yes.
the entire body of the law, since this
No,
has
well,
gone into effect, but what I'm saying is you're exactly right. And again, you're in that space where you're like, well, you must have missed that.
No.
We
I'm a
can't
very
just
simple
legislate
person,
that
and I
you,
just want
yeah.
a simple
Oh, no, I
answer.
understand. All great
Yeah.
questions. But you can't just, towns tried that early on in this
Well,
whole.
it's called exclusionary zoning.
Right,
You get
so the whole.
sued and you lose.
Right, so that was, most towns in the states, that's what they did. They got, the residents were angry, the politicians said, okay, we changed the zoning, and that just gave the people who are in favor of high-density housing victory after
No,
victory.
I understand that. So.
Yeah,
the
I wish it
10
was
acre-
that.
Yeah.
So that's
the
the
10 acre zoning
difference.
Can always be changed.
That's what,
So-
that's what they sue you over. They
Yeah,
get
I-
it, they get a
So-
contract with a landowner
Right.
that executes if the township gives them the zoning.
So
this
if
process.
I'm in a, let's say somebody is in a 2-acre zoning and they have 5 acres of land, so that 2-acre zoning, that homeowner can sue the township to make it a 1-acre zoning and put 5 lots.
No, that homeowner could go before our zoning board
Oh,
and
and apply
s-
to-
apply
and
to
then-
subdivide their
Yeah,
property
right.
because it is zoned. I'm sorry, the planning board. Did I
Is it the
mix that
planning
up?
board?
I get a little, I mix that
Three or
up.
more does the plan.
So you can do that. 10-acre zoning, it's zoned for 10 acres.
Right.
Technically speaking, you cannot subdivide, but anybody can go to the zoning board and
Try to subdivide.
try and do something,
Okay.
but that's what we have in place now.
Okay.
So it's a little different because not only is the 151 Dutch Lane Road 10-acre zoning, it is also so
understand that.
two different things.
Okay.
And just to kind of
No, I
end
just
with
wanted to
the,
clarify in my head simply that somebody in a 2-acre zoning area, if they had 6 acres, they could go in the front of the zoning board and apply for 1-acre zoning and put 6 lots if they wanted to, if they had enough frontage and whatnot, technically.
you could go before the planning board
Right.
and you could
Okay,
request
no,
a subdivision.
I just wanted to understand that. And then secondly, I wanted to ask about, you said you have about 60 affordable housing units left or something like that. But what is this thing about, I don't understand, if you have like 100 units that you have to have, affordable units, you have to do 1 unit that's affordable and 1 unit that's, what do you call? Or 1 to 5?
1 to 5.
So 1 to 5.
Yeah,
So
so
for every one
affordable
affordable-
housing laws allow, Trenton laws allow
1 to 5.
1 affordable, a builder can build 5 market.
Okay, I got it.
That's
For
the craziness of the
inclusionary
law.
housing, or you
Okay.
can do 100% affordable housing.
Or 100% affordable. So if you wanted to, you could, if you had 60 units left, you can pick one property and put 60 units of affordable and have your 10 years done with. Oh, okay. well-
Essentially.
Well, we're trying to do it without building anything. That's the
Oh, but
thing.
that's not going to happen.
Well,
All options are on the table. So
Well,
Yes.
let's get.
And I wanna-
60 units is.
no, I'm talking
And-
about the
and Dan,
101.
Okay.
Dan, I just want to cut you off now just
Okay,
because
but-
we're over time
I
and we
know,
have
but
more
I'm-
people.
I'm
We're
gonna
getting
be
late.
Giving you a call tomorrow.
I was just going to say,
about
I'm going to
the,
have Officer Tomeo reach out to you
I'm
and
gonna
follow
call
up.
you about the, I want to see what's happening with the speed limits.
You got
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you for waiting.
George Smith, 38 Deputy Minister Drive. I'm just wanting to make, well, I appreciate all your time and everything in this. This is a very complicated matter, and I certainly don't have a solution either. Just some suggestions. I'm going to be a little bit different than what he said,
Great.
but just some things to think
We need the
about.
feedback.
Something's going to happen, obviously. One of the things that I'm concerned with is the traffic on 537, just like he said. One of the things, and I may get a lot of backshot from the audience, but what about keeping all the high-density housing in a certain area? 537 has to be expanded. I mean, nobody wanted it, but it probably was the ideal area because it was near 18. So you have access to 18, but 537, I mean, this housing unit is not even up. And I can imagine if there's accidents happening now, what's going to happen. That's definitely a big concern for everybody. The other thought process is, I know we want to, thinking about these huge lots of 40 acres and dividing it into like these huge housing units, which they're applying for. What about not doing that and doing smaller units, 15 smaller units or 20 smaller units, 1 to 5, and approve it and get it done somewhere on 537. All this traffic coming out of one area onto 537, it's gonna be problems. So I mean, nobody, it's either possibly put it in one area, which I don't know if you have the acreage to do around there, around 18, because the Well Springs is on the other side of 537. Now you got like 2 sides of it, so it's going to be a lot coming out onto 537. So I mean, the other thing is like smaller units, like 1 acre, and allowing people to subdivide and building a 5-unit or 5-family or a 5-unit thing. And one of them will be affordable. It's just a thought, and I think you should definitely consider that.
Thank you.
You know, the biggest issue that we have with that is greed.
Yeah, the builders.
Well, greed in that 40 acres. One person is selling their property. They're making a ton of money. They're leaving this place.
Or they've already
and they're
left.
making a lot of money. Or like, I don't own any property in the town, so I don't benefit from this. But if there's units of acre here and an acre there, and they're in certain areas, come up with a plan to approve 5 units.
There's enough acreage in the overlay zone, the affordable housing overlay zone that we've talked about, which is south of 34 south of 537, that we've zoned for high density housing. There's enough land there.
So why don't they develop it?
Why don't they?
Why do private parties don't want to build there? Because they'd rather build someplace else.
They'd rather build with the view of the horses.
So
but that's what we're pushing, right? We're saying there's this mandate, Trenton forced it on us, build it in this area, which is close to transportation, close
Give
to
them a tax
businesses.
incentive. Give them something.
They already have it.
And
They already
and
have taxes.
And again, these are all things that we are absolutely considering. We have tried to keep it, like as you're saying, like where it makes sense, by Route 18 in the business district. So there are areas
So they're
that
not,
make
these are vacant properties?
that makes
That are not
sense.
being developed at all?
So,
Private property, I
silly.
can't force them to sell.
but listen, if you're a
More
developer,
enticing, yeah.
if you're a developer,
Right.
you're going to want to go where you think you're going to make the most amount of money. And as a homeowner, you want to sell for the most amount of money. I think we could all agree to that, right? I'm not going to lie. I want to sell my house for the most amount of money I can. So again, that's just the reality of it. But yes, we have zoned appropriately. 537 is a county road. I am not aware of any plans that they have to expand 537. They're definitely making things safer. And we appreciate that the county is doing some of those efforts. But I think you bring up some good ideas, good thoughts, and I think it would be great if we had people in town who were interested in taking some of the vacant land and building some of these projects on a smaller scale, so it wouldn't be so immense.
Try to use
We're
more-
working from
as
our
much of
end.
your resources and your
Yes.
money towards that. I think it would offshoot this whole big project. This is going to be
And
a
maybe there's
disaster.
someone out there listening right now who's going to come up with that idea. Thank you.
Thank you.
You were next, sir, and then we'll let her go.
Hi, good evening. Elaine Krasankis, 126 Montrose Road. Thank you again for the opportunity to speak with you. And thank you to the gentleman in the back. Also, just another point I wanted to bring up in addition to what my husband Dan had spoken about earlier. And I am in that stage of anger right now. Sorry.
Elaine, I'm still angry. I'm not gonna
So-
lie, I haven't moved out of that.
So at this point, I think we're all in this situation where we're like Florida during the hurricane, where we know it's going to come, and we're at a point where everybody in this township knows this is going to happen to us. So all we can do is unfortunately pray for it to happen to somebody else. And I hate to do that to my neighbors because I love this town. I've been here about 30 years. I love the people here. I loved raising my children here. And I am devastated by what has gone on over across the street from the hospital, from the high school. Picking my daughter up, dropping my daughter off, seeing what's going on there. Nothing is there yet. Nobody is there yet. And it takes us a very long time and it's dangerous. And the thought of being a 17-year-old driver going through there or a 17-year-old driver on their way down Montrose Road all the way down to the end of where Dutch meets at the end, trying to turn to the right or the left if they have to go in that way, and waiting and having to be patient and mature enough to try. Somebody's going to get hurt. We all know that. We know it's going to happen. I'm sorry to say it's happened and it's going to happen. That being said, with the affordable housing, I know that there are other townships, for example, Hopewell, and I believe Homedale that were able in some way to negotiate or speak with the community affairs where they had decreased their requirements. I don't know the process that occurred there. A lot of that was not disclosed. So I wanted to know if that was something that we have approached and what we've done with that. I have seen, as you had said, some of the differences between Walls requirements, other towns' requirements, and I feel for them, but I don't live there. So I have to represent my town. The other question and something about raising money, I hate to say it, but you sit in my driveway and you, with a radar gun for a few minutes at certain times of days, I think you could raise an awful lot of money right there. Secondly, in addition to that, I know with the library, we had a fund where we had sold bricks and that for fundraising. I don't know if that would help in any way for the open space to raise money. That would just be an idea to put out there. So I'll give you the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Elaine.
Allow me to address this. We spent most of 2022 and 2023 and half of 2024 with our affordable housing planner quantifying every square inch of land in Colts Neck so that when the next round came out, we were prepared to defend a lower obligation. Our obligation from the state came in at 101. We could not refute it. We could not find any corruption in the data sets. We couldn't find any misrepresentation in where lines were, what was a forest, what was a tree. We quantified every square inch, and the 101 was an accurate number. So we did go through a 2-year project.
But Mike, you might want to back that up to the previous round 3 and talk about that negotiation, how you got that down.
So round 3 was 19. There was a 15-year period of time called a gap period. There was lots of litigation. It went to the Supreme Court. It was the gap period of 2000 to 2015 where nothing was built, where nothing was happening with COA. The advocate, Fair Share Housing Center, argued successfully at the Superior Court level that that housing was still needed. That was called the gap period. It was appealed. It was overturned on appeal. Then Fair Share Housing Center appealed to the state Supreme Court, and it was overturned, so the gap period came in. So between 2015, the gap period, and the current period of 2015 to 2025, Fair Share Housing Center claimed that our obligation would be 549. Multiply that number by 5. That is a 60% increase in housing in one period. That was reduced to 306. And then through the use of our credits that we have with Levana, et cetera, we've got that number down to 229. We are still obligated for 138 unfulfilled because we claimed a durational adjustment. A durational adjustment in affordable housing languages, we don't have public water, we don't have public sewage, we cannot accommodate high density. We've been given that by the court. That doesn't, it gives us a level of defense. We can defend things to a certain extent, but we also will be victimized by a developer coming up with a plan that they claim DEP will give them the permit to put this package plant in the ground. So it started at went to 549 down to 306. We have 138 that are unfulfilled that we're working on currently, in addition to the round 4 that we're working on. Any municipality that argued in court for a lower round 3 obligation, it defaulted to the higher number. So had we gone to court and we were put behind a gun in March of 2018, the judge said, you're either signing a settlement or you're going to trial. And every single township that went to trial got a higher number. So our number of 306, had we gone to trial, would have likely been well over 500. So we've done the best we can in mitigating the previous round. The current round, as I said, we quantified every square inch in town: open space, farm, recreation and open space, 10-acre zoning, et cetera, wetlands, Category 1 streams, the base, 3,000-foot setback. 23% of our land mass is behind the fence. But in the state's calculation, the factor of developable land was 0. So you can't get a number less than 0 is 0. We have 0 developable land. We have 101 obligation because that's the standard. We have no developable land. We couldn't argue that we should get a negative number. So the 101 was substantiated. It's a
Yeah,
very
and-
good question. Thank you.
Yeah, and for the towns that had some of these obligations that were lowered, I happen to work in one of them. Homedale next door fought their number, and the reason they fought the number is because they had assigned land mass to land that was already developed, such as the Homedale Swim Club. So they actually assigned. Yeah, so they were able to have their number lowered because their calculations were based on erroneous data. And that's why you have your professionals kind of go through and figure all that out. So yeah, there definitely were some towns, there were not a lot, but a few towns, a handful that actually were able to get their numbers lowered, Homedale being one of them. But when you saw the reasons, it made sense.
So just for example, I just looked it up. Wall Township in round 3 had 937 was their obligation. Ours, we negotiated 306
And
from
the round-
500 and something.
The round 4 is 770.
And their round 4
750.
obligation, what they're dealing with now, 719 times 5. We're at 101. So if anybody's arguing that we're not fighting for the town, that statistic alone, and I could go on all day, that's just one town. I will compare our record against any other town that is comparable in size and space. You got a couple
And yes, you've waited a long time. Thank you.
My name is Claude Ranieri. I'm a real estate broker in,
I'm sorry, what was
in
the last
Colts
name?
Neck.
What
I'm
was the-
sorry,
What was the last name?
Ranieri, Ranieri.
Thank you.
For those that don't know me, I used to be in Colts Neck for about 12 years. I represented Colonial Farms since 1988. It took me 10 years to get that developed because of my approaching Mr. Fessler. I don't know if you remember him. Mr. Fessler was a zoning officer who had requested that we maintain the integrity of the town, keeping it kind of bucolic, farm. And it took us 7 years to find a builder that was willing to set a development 500-600 feet off the road. And I'm kind of heartbroken when I see what's going on, like right next door. And I represented, and I know how difficult it was to sell that because of zoning. It was 10-acre zoning. And we're allowed to cluster to 2 acres or minimum. And we did that. We moved everything over and we sold it in 98. We sold it in 97. It took 3 years to get approvals. And I'm proud of the project. The project is absolutely gorgeous, beautiful. And it took us another 12 years to sell the other 95 acres because we were advised that we couldn't subdivide. We couldn't even parcel any of it. We couldn't cut anything off the 95 acres. We couldn't subdivide it at all. Now, the reason I'm starting to say this, because I'm hoping that what I share with you may be of help, and I hope, and I'll make myself available to you, my expertise, my knowledge. One of the things I'm aware of from my land, my experience, Colesneck is the only town that allows cluster zoning. In other words, if you go to any other town where there's 3 acres, 5, 6, 10, that's it. That's all you got. You can't cluster unless you get a relief to do townhouses. Colesneck gives you the relief from 10 to 2 minimum. It allows you, and then allows your farm to leave, which is 35% of it. You develop 35 and the other 65 can stay open space. That to me is the relief that has always been the case in this town. That's number one. Number two, I want to share with you something else because I was involved somewhat with it, Equestria, which is Cranberry Bog on 33. If you go back to before Equestria, 33 was kind of isolated. There was no development. When Equestria got approved, and that was 6 acre zoning, which is my point. They didn't cluster. They got approved because it was adult community, no ratables to the school. It was ratables with no effect on the school system. That's how they got that approved. I know that for a fact because, like I said, it was my suggestion to do it. Never thinking of what was going to happen, precedent setting up and down 33 now. Just about every adult community is over there now. It's like anything else. You get one idea, guess what happens? Everybody comes along and follows. Here's my big question and big concern as I'm listening here, standing here tonight, being that I've been kind of working with the town for quite some time. I look at Wellspring Farm. I'm very familiar with it because I had all those pieces together at one time. I had 243 acres, the one where the house sits on right now. That was 3 acres. And then they sold Calando and then so on and so forth. So now you got 170 acres, which is 10 acre zoning with cluster. I don't believe he ever put it through the farmland preservation. I think it's still subdividable. I think the relief is there, the 2 acre zoning. I don't understand how that is not an arguable point. If you had 10 acre zoning, I could see how you can go to court and say, hey, we want to do something other than 10 acres because we can't sell it. Well, that's not the case. You've got 2 acre zoning minimum. So that is your case. And you can still leave the main house on 65% and subdivide the other 35, right off of 537. That's number one.
So
No.
you've reached your 4 minutes.
I'm sorry?
You've reached your 4 minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm just.
With
Can I
that
just say
being
something
said,
else?
I was going to say also, if you want to provide us your contact also,
Yeah,
we
I'll give you
can
my
reach out
contact.
after.
The other question I have is, because I was also involved in negotiating the piece on Dutch and Boundary at one point, and they subdivided it to Mockingbird Lane. So that was 60 acres. They took 20, put the 8 lots. Now you got 40 acres left over. So here's a big question I have. If this goes through, what happens to other subdivided properties in town that have already gone through subdivision? Does that mean there's a gold rush? Is every builder going to show up on all these subdivided properties and say, hey,
That's why we're gonna hold the line.
look over there?
Yes,
That's the big concern. As I'm listening here, I'm listening to everybody.
that's
but I'm
exactly
like,
right.
wait a minute, there's red flags.
Yes.
Thank you.
I mean, he's another broker. I mean, it's just mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Mind-boggling here. Can I?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you ever need my assistance,
I appreciate that. Thank you, Clark.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you need any professional assistance, right, please don't hesitate.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Lionel Lucas at Raven Road. Just want to thank you guys for your time and your efforts and all this. It's much appreciated. I just have a suggestion for you guys. Proactive, and you're talking to people, looking for lots, looking for lands. If it's possible, can we take it up a notch and become an aggressive buyer? And in conjunction with being an aggressive buyer, come to some sort of agreement with developers or contractors in town who are invested in preserving the sanctity of this town, who will do the project for little to no money, where greed is eliminated. And maybe it'll take 2 or 3 or 4 developers or contractors. Full disclosure, I am a contractor. So I'm one of those, I'm one of the guys in town.
Yeah.
And I would be willing to talk to other contractors in town and say, all right, how can we do this at zero cost? Not looking for any profit or just break even. And then we can be in a consortium, in some sort of joint venture with the township. So now the township does not have to worry about the greed of a contractor looking to glutton whatever land they're trying to get. We don't have to go 1 to 5. We just have to go find a property big enough to satisfy the 70 units. And the town is saved for at least 10 years. And how many acres was Kushner? 20, 30?
32, but encumbered by a lot of wetlands.
Right. So, and that was 360 units. So let's just focus on finding a 10-acre piece, which is manageable. I understand that funds are limited. I understand that the landowner is going to want maximum value for their property. But at least if we can negotiate knowing that, all right, if we get the land, we have a group of builders, local builders, who are willing to do this at cost. Maybe it gives us more wiggle room. And back to my original suggestion, I know there's discussions, I know there's conversations, I know we're take it up a notch. Let's be aggressive buyers.
So in connection with the aggressive buyer, I think it's come up a few times. We
Right.
are limited by the appraised value of the property. We are not dealing with our own money. We're dealing with taxpayers'
Totally
money.
understood.
So
Totally
in terms of
understood.
aggressive buyer, clearly a developer will be paying more than the township.
And I don't mean aggressive from a financial perspective. I mean aggressive from, okay, look, let's move beyond having a cup of coffee. Let's move beyond a conversation, a telephone call. Let's sit down and let's put pen to paper. Let's sit down and let's come up with a hard number. And maybe the number is unrealistic, but we're being aggressive and we're trying to drill down to get to a number. And we're trying to drill down to get to a point where the town can buy a parcel in an area that is designated for affordable housing, and everybody wins. I mean, none of us here want this. We don't want it. But guess what? Winter's coming. And so it seems like it's inevitability. So I'm saying let's be proactive. Let's be aggressive. Let's not sit back and hope, and let's keep it in town. Keep it with us builders, the local guys who are going to do it for nothing because we just want this done with. And let's get a parcel that we can get that we can reasonably purchase as a township.
That's the hard part.
Understood. That's all I
Thank
have.
you.
Thank you.
So I just want to state, the municipality is very proactive. We are proactive within the confines of what we are allowed to legally do as a municipality. So I'll just say that.
And
So
in that vein, in that spirit, we are, again, and I hate to say it, but we are in active negotiations in all sorts of different types of projects. I don't think we quite brought in the local contractor aspect, but if that's an avenue we can explore, we'll leave it to the lawyers and to the experts on affordable housing. But any population or any amount of the population who wants to pitch in and help will be certainly welcomed. And I like that perspective. I do.
anybody else?
I don't think I used my whole 4 minutes.
Come on.
36 seconds.
I want to leave a number, but I want to kind of piggyback on that. Nobody wants to build south of 537 on 34. So why is a piece of land there going to be so expensive that we can't buy something there and put some affordable housing in? I mean, no, the other developers don't want to do it. Why can't this guy round some people up and do something like that?
Because the people who own that property didn't get that it's not worth anything memo.
The property owner thinks. he's
Well,
sitting-
Everyone
I'm
thinks
not
it's worthless except
suggesting
the guy who owns it.
It gets stolen, but it's not top dollar.
I think you bring up good points.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Good point.
Anybody else? Seeing no more hands, can I get a motion to close public comment?
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Moved.
Oh, second. Rizzuto.
All in favor?
Aye.
Who was the first?
Our next Township Committee meeting is going to be Wednesday, December 10th at 7 PM. For the record, for those that are looking to reach out, my phone number is 732-810-3023. Reach out.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming.